Hello, hi, how are you doing? Good evening. What's up? Hi, Prasoon. You're all chatty today. There's some conversations going on. Oh, after a long time, heart back to you as well. Hi, Comfy Studies, seeing you after a long time as well. Hi, Rashi. I'm good. How are you? Hi, Nishika. Formerly Nisha. So you changed your name recently. Hi, Pragya. Hello, G. Good evening. Okay, are we all ready for solving the sample paper today? How many of you have been through the sample paper and the marking scheme? Quickly tell me. Because if you have doubts, then it'll be a lot easier to discuss. I mean, it'll help you a lot more because you can bring those doubts to me. If you haven't gone through it, it's fine. We'll go through it right now. Oh, Pragya, you've gone through it and solved it. Okay, you've seen it but not solved it. That's fine. Okay. So, Pragya, if you have any questions related to why a certain answer was given a certain way in the marking scheme, you can ask me. Prasoon, you can do it too. All right, just finished it. Raghavan, great, good job. Okay. So, let's get right to it because it's going to be a long session. I think we should get started. Here we are solving the sample question paper 23-24 so that you can ace your boards. Okay? ठीक है. So let's start. एकदम vibes ले आओ, examination hall वाली सारी feels लेके आओ. Nervous नहीं होते exam देते हुए. I hope none of you get nervous. But one thing that you should have is good time management skills and the ability to focus on what you're doing. Okay? So we're going to try and do that as well. So we won't get carried away in other conversations. We can in the middle. We can take a break or two. But we'll try to stay focused on the paper. Okay? Alright. So let's start with the reading skills section. 20 marks, unseen passage. We can read the passage together and then we can answer the questions. Okay? Now, I am not going to stop at every word that you don't know the meaning of because exam mein you won't get to know the meaning of certain words. And what you have to do is you have to guess the meaning of those words through context cues. So you're going to read the passage, you're going to read certain paragraphs, you're going to try and understand what is being said. Even if you don't understand a word or two in the passage, you'll still get the general gist of what is being said in that particular line, sentence or paragraph. Okay? So I'm not going to stop at every difficult word and tell you what it means because that is not going to help you in your exam. But what you are going to do is if there are words over here that you don't know the meaning of, please do look them up, write down the meaning. It's not just enough to look up a word and read the meaning. That's not how you're going to retain the meaning of that word. If you want to build your vocabulary, you're going to write it down. You're going to start using that word, incorporate it, use it for 2-3 days continuously. 2-3 sentences में अपनी conversations में उस word को use करो and वो automatically आपकी mental vocabulary में बैठ जाएगा. Okay? Alright, let's get started. As a high school student, studying poetry can be a roller coaster ride. This journey is punctuated by moments of profound appreciation for simpler pieces and intermittent frustration with more complex works. Let's be real here. Some poems are just plain confusing and no amount of rereading seems to help decipher the intended meaning. Tell me about it. The puzzlement that results from such instances can be both vexing and demotivating. If solving a riddle is what was intended, then playing Sudoku is a better option. One is led to ponder if obscurity was the goal. Okay, what is the general gist of this paragraph? Quickly tell me. What is the general gist of this paragraph? I want it in one line, I want it quick. What is the author, writer trying to say over here? Let's see who gives me एकदम time. क्या बात कर रहे हो? Late आए हो आप? Yes, that poems can be a real pain sometimes, and some of them are so confusing that whoosh, that's the gist of this paragraph. Yes, it can be interesting, sometimes irritating. Yeah, it's very complex. And sometimes you're made to wonder if they're supposed to make sense. If the poet actually intended for them to make sense. Okay, that's the gist. So here, for now, we're mainly like being critical of poetry. Correct? We haven't said something very, not we, the author hasn't said something really nice about poetry yet. It's been more or less critical of poetry, right? Then, conversely, some pieces resonate with the reader's soul, stirring feelings of warmth, happiness, and connection to the world. Often, these compositions center on themes that are universally understood, such as love, nature, or faith. Being able to actually understand what the poet is trying to say can feel like a little victory and is a welcome relief after grappling with more perplexing poetry. Okay, now here we have taken a U-turn. First, we were criticizing poetry, saying it's so unnecessarily complicated. It just confuses you. It's so obscure. If the point was to solve a riddle, then we could have just done some Sudoku instead. Okay, but now here they're saying, but there are some poems that really, touch you, that make you feel emotions. And these are universally accepted things, the things that everybody universally relates to, like love, faith, and nature. Okay, and when you understand a complex poem, you get that eureka feeling that, oh, that's what it means. Wow. Okay, so that's the general gist of the second paragraph. Now, then, there are poems that are emotionally charged. The ones that make the reader curl up in a ball in Kachak. First is curl up in a ball, cry or jump up and down with joy. One is left in awe of the poet's ability to convey emotion through words. Let's not forget the downright. Okay, so till here again, we are talking about poems that bring out extreme emotions. A lot of poems that were written maybe during a rebellion that really stirred people up, or poems that are so, like, express sad emotions so well that you just read them and start crying. Okay, now after this, after the mark, what are we saying? Let's not forget the downright weird poems. Again, like paragraph 1, we have come back to being little critical of poems. We're saying these are the ones that defy categorization and leave the reader to their own devices in attempting to interpret something. The author's tone of figurative language and unconventional imagery can create a sense of bewilderment that is either intriguing or off-putting. Regardless, the reader can appreciate the uniqueness of the work. So over here, in this bit, what is the writer saying? The writer is saying that there are weird poems, and there are some people that might like these weird poems, but there are other people that absolutely do not like these weird poems. It can go both ways. Okay, then, despite the wide range of emotions and reactions that come with studying poetry, it can be a rewarding pursuit. Not only does reading poetry allow one to appreciate the artistic beauty of the written word, but also enables one to develop crucial critical thinking and analytical skills. The process of unlocking a poem's meaning can feel like cracking a code or solving a puzzle. But the sense of accomplishment derived from mastering a challenging piece can be deeply gratifying. Finally, impressing an English teacher with a well-analyzed poem can be a source of pride and validation. Okay? Now what are we saying? We are saying that despite everything, some poems being too confusing, too perplexing, some poems being very good, some poems being weird, there's still something very rewarding about reading poetry, understanding poetry, that makes it something worthwhile to do. Okay? Now after conceding a little bit that yes, I agree that some poems can be weird, I agree that some can be obscure, more or less we understand that the writer likes poetry and is making a case for poetry, not against it. Okay? Now, last paragraph. Overall, studying poetry is like a box of mixed chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But whether it's complex, emotional, simple, or just downright weird, there's always something to be gained from the experience. Okay? Something to be gained from the experience. So let's applaud all the poets out there for making us laugh, cry, scratch our heads, and occasionally feel like a genius. Okay? So we've understood the paragraph together. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Okay? What transition did this play? Okay, fine. Which of the following statements best describes the author's attitude towards studying poetry? Now, we just discussed this, so you should be able to answer. Towards the end, and reading the last two paragraphs gave us a clear indication that the writer is not at all against poetry. The writer is very much for poetry. And whenever we make a case for something, we always concede a little bit. You know, when you're giving an argument, you always say ki I understand your side, but hear me out. That's what the poet did. In the beginning, by criticizing poetry a little bit, the author was like, I understand if you also don't like poetry, but listen to what I'm saying. Got it? So the correct answer is all of you have said, very good, is C, recognizes the challenges of studying poetry, but also acknowledges the rewards it offers. Okay? Very, very good. Great job. Full marks so far. Okay? And if any of you have any doubts, then please stop and ask. Okay? Next question. What is the tone of the writer in the given lines from paragraph 1? Rationalize your response in about 40 words. The lines are, if solving a riddle is what was intended, then playing Sudoku is a better option. One is led to ponder if obscurity was the goal. What's given below is paragraph 1. So we are supposed to understand the tone of the writer. What is given in your marking scheme? Let's analyze that. Yes, Team 7 guys saying sarcastic. Why are you saying it's a sarcastic thing? Okay, so basically, अगर आपको clear नहीं दिख रहा है मानसी, try refreshing. So basically in this line, what is the writer trying to do? The writer is saying कि अगर इतना ही confusing बनाना था poetry को, इससे अच्छा तो हम कोई riddle solve कर लेते, इससे अच्छा तो हम कोई puzzle कर लेते, इससे अच्छा तो हम कोई Sudoku खेल लेते. Yes, taunt मारा एक तरीके से. So we can say that it is sarcastic. The tone is sarcastic. That, you know, your poem is not like a poem. It's more like a riddle. It's more like like solving a puzzle. It's more like doing Sudoku. Okay. So how will you rationalize this? Okay. You will rationalize this by saying, and it's given in your marking scheme. So I hope you were able to understand. So you can say that what is written in your marking scheme suggests that the writer is not impressed with the level of complexity in some poetry. Additionally, the phrase led to ponder if obscurity was the goal implies that the writer believes some poets may intentionally make their work difficult to understand, which can be frustrating to the reader. So whenever you're answering such questions and it has asked you to analyze given lines, you need to address both the lines, okay? First you address this line, then you also have to address this line. If you don't address both the lines in your answer, you will not get full marks, okay? Alright? Got it? Another alternative that was given here, in which I had also told you while reading paragraph 1, is that it seems like the writer is being critical of poetry over here. So the writer was being critical. The writer was criticizing overly complex poems. So you can also say that the tone of the writer was critical. Reason being that if you're going to make something that should ideally resonate the readers or give them an incentive to read, if you make it so complicated, then nobody is going to read it. They would much rather do something else. Correct? Okay? One is led to ponder, think about. Ponder means think deeply about something. So one is led to ponder obscurity was the goal. And you know, the goal of things should ideally be clarity. Goal of something written should not be confusion. It should not be to create confusion. It should be to give clarity to whoever's reading it, right? So if obscurity was the goal, then what's the point? Why are you even writing? Okay? Alright. Complete the sentence appropriately. The author's use of, okay, decipher means figuring something out, like a code. If there's a code written, then figuring out what it means is deciphering the code, okay? Alright? The author's use of vivid imagery in the paragraph 3, such as curl up in a ball and cry and jump up and down with joy, greatly affects the reader because... Why does it affect the reader? Because when I think about this, if you're reading this, you think about curling up in a ball and crying. Maybe you're reminded of a time where you actually did that, where you felt sad enough that you were actually curled up in a ball and you cried. Okay? Or if you imagine jumping up and down with joy, you can think back at a time where you were so happy that you actually did jump up and down with joy. So here you can, yes, very good Ash, you can relate to these things. So the reason the author has written this and used vivid imagery, we always use imagery so that the reader is able to imagine exactly what the author is trying to say, okay? And then once you imagine exactly what the author is trying to say, you feel those emotions instantly. That's the use of imagery. Correct? So here again, it's so that there can be an emotional impact on the reader. That's why. Yes, it affects our emotions. Very good. Very good, Sandesh. Yeah, can properly understand, imagine, and therefore there's an emotional response in the reader. Okay? Alright? And all these answers are given in your marking scheme. So I would urge you to go back and go through the answers again. And if there's something, you can do it simultaneously also. Just open up the marking scheme on the side. If there's something you don't understand, feel free to ask me right now. Okay? Next, lots of questions. So let's go a little quickly. The passage includes some words that are the opposites of each other. From the sets A to E below, identify two sets of antonyms. What are antonyms? Opposite words. Itna to sabko pata hi hai. Let's look at these words. And see, the reason why I told you context is so important is because इसमें से जैसे आप लोगों को deciphering का मतलब नहीं पता था, ठीक है? तो अगर आपको डिसाइफरिंग का मतलब नहीं पता था तो आप ये क्वेश्चन आंसर ही नहीं कर पाते. पर आपके पास एक और ऑप्शन है, आप वापस पैसेज में जाओ, गो बैक टू द पैसेज एंड रीड वेयर दैट वर्ड अपीयर्स, एंड व्हेन यू रीड वेयर दैट वर्ड अपीयर्स यू कैन गेस द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड. You can guess the meaning of the word, correct? So here, intriguing and off-putting, are they the same meaning or are they opposites? Intriguing, this word is pronounced intriguing, not intriguing, okay? It's not intriguing, it's intriguing. Practice saying it after me. Intriguing. When something is intriguing, when something intrigues you, it means you are interested in it. There are some movies that have a very intriguing plot. What that means is you're very interested in the plot. You want to know what happens in the movie, okay? Off-putting and interesting, are they the same? No. What is off-putting? Off-putting is something that instantly ruins your mood, okay? That instantly makes you feel like, "Chi, ye kya hai? Mujhe nahi karna, mujhe nahi padna." Okay? So off-putting is something that you don't like at all. That leaves a bad taste. Okay? So intriguing, interesting, off-putting, chhe. So they are opposites. Okay? So this is one of our antonym sets. Deciphering and interpreting, what did I tell you? The meaning of deciphering was to figure something out, to crack a code, to understand what the hidden meaning of something is. Interpreting means the same thing. So these are not a set of antonyms. Appreciate and applaud. Appreciate and applaud. Again, same thing. If you applaud something, you are appreciating it. So not an antonym set. Simple and challenging. ये तो simple है कि challenging है ना antonyms. Simple मतलब easy, challenging मतलब difficult. So this is a set. Emotions and feelings, same thing. Synonyms hai. So what's our answer? A and D. Okay? All right. Complete the sentence appropriately. We can say that the author's tone becomes more neutral and objective when discussing weird poems compared to other types of poetry because blank. अब ये हमने पढ़ते हुए भी डिस्कस किया था. First paragraph, writer was critical of poetry. Second paragraph, writer was talking about how poetry is amazing. Third paragraph, half of it, writer was talking about very intense poems. Other half, writer was talking about weird poems. When he or she spoke about weird poems, they did not say that weird poems are bad. They said they could be intriguing or they could be off-putting. They said some people could like them, some people could not like them. Okay? So, here, got it? What being neutral or objective means? Being neutral means you're not taking a side. So for downright weird poems, author did not take a side. Author did not say that they are very interesting. Author did not say they are just bad. Author said they could be either. Neutral हो गया. Objective का मतलब क्या होता है? Objectivity, subjectivity, what does it mean? When you're objective about something, that means you don't have bias. You don't have bias. So, you are being very analytical about it. You're not letting your personal feelings affect your opinion of something. When you don't let your personal feelings affect your opinion, you're being objective. Okay? and you're being subjective when you are letting your bias creep in. Okay? So, here the author has not told us what he or she feels about downright weird poetry. Author has been objective, not subjective. Author said some people might like it, some people won't. Okay? Got it? Got it? Alright. Next. Based on the reading of the passage, examine in about 40 words how studying poetry can be like exploring a new city. Now here you are supposed to make a comparison कि new city को explore करना और poetry पढ़ने में क्या similarities हो सकती है. इसमें आप कुछ भी लिख सकते हो. You can get as creative as you want. The answer that's given to you is, just as exploring a new city requires an open mind and a willingness to embrace the unexpected, studying poetry requires an openness to different styles and approaches and a willingness to be challenged and surprised with what you find. Okay? So here, what does exploring a new city need you to do? It needs you to have an open mind so that you can embrace the culture that you see in the city, so that you can figure your way around the city. Okay? And unexpected things can happen. Similarly, while reading a poem, unexpected realizations can happen. You need to be open to the different types of poetry. There are so many different styles. Yeah, the roads in a new city can be confusing. Similarly, the lines in a poem can be confusing. Very good, Hridyansh Soni. Great answer. Okay, there can be ups and downs. Yes, you can really like a new city, or you can absolutely hate it and never want to go back. Similarly, you can really love a poem. Excuse me, to the extent that you would want to read it again and again. A new city can change your perspective and open you up. Like if you go to a city and you really like the culture, the food, the vibe of the place, then that changes your perspective in life. Similarly, if you read a poem that really touches you, it will change your perspective in life. Okay, so these are many different options that you can put in an answer like this. Okay. Alright, next. What is the message conveyed by Hina's experience in the following case? What is the case? Hina spends hours trying to analyze a poem for her assignment and finally feels a sense of accomplishment and pride once she understands it. Okay? So, Hina is like struggling with something and then finally she has her aha moment and she's like, now I understand. What does this tell us? Now here, spends hours trying to analyze a poem is very important over here. So is the option only those with natural talent for poetry should engage with it? No. If Hina had a natural talent, she would have understood it immediately. Study of poetry is guaranteed to impress others? No, that's not what the point is. The efforts of studying poetry is inversely proportional to the reward. No, that's not true. Why do you think? It's not about impressing others. She felt a sense of accomplishment. Nobody else knew that she understood the poem. She herself felt accomplished. If she felt accomplished only when she presented her analysis to her teacher and her teacher said, wow, Hina, what a brilliant job you have done, then she was like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. That would have been to impress others. But here, she herself alone in her room while analyzing the poem felt accomplished. So, C is not our correct answer. And the efforts and rewards are inversely proportional. The more effort, the lesser the reward. That's not true. So, D is not the correct answer. Correct answer is B. Persistence makes studying poetry a rewarding pursuit. Persistence means you keep trying something. You keep trying it. Okay? Alright. Here, state whether the following lines display an example of simple, complex, emotionally charged or a downright weird poem. Which of these could these be? The sun rises in the east, a new day begins, a fresh start. Birds chirp, nature wakes up, a peaceful feeling in my heart. It's like twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Easy poem to understand. इसमें कोई ये नहीं है कि मुझे कुछ और समझ आया, आपको कुछ और समझ आया. सबका इंटरप्रिटेशन अलग है. द ट्रीज की तरह कोई सोच रहा है फेमिनिज्म के बारे में, कोई सोच रहा है डिफॉरेस्टेशन के बारे में. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना. इट्स सिंपल पोएम. करेक्ट? सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड, इजी, एंड इट्स नॉट अबाउट अ वेरी intense human emotion. It's not about love. It's not about hate. It's not about faith. It's about nature. Okay? So, everybody agrees that the answer should be simple? Yes. It's not very emotionally charged. It's not a weird poem. It's not emotionally charged because it's not stirring up some emotions in you, Aditi. Emotionally charged poem ka example do. If you think about, the first thing that comes to my mind is not even an English poem. It's actually a poem from India's freedom struggle. Sarfaroshi ki tamanna ab hamare dil mein hai. You know, these kinds of poems that bring out that feeling in you, एकदम intense feeling, वो emotionally charged poems है. Yes, this brings out a peaceful, हाँ, थोड़ा peaceful, chill vibe create करती है poem. Okay? Downright means just एकदम. Downright means एकदम. एकदम weird. Okay. Amanda is a very complex poem, I would say, because it has two narratives going on. One is Amanda's mother or parent or whoever saying things, and the others is inside Amanda's mind. So it's a very complex structure. Okay. Now we have reached our case-based factual passage. Let's quickly read it. Reduction in green areas has caused various environmental problems. People squeezed between concrete structures are looking for various ways to meet their longing for green. One of the ways to do so is vertical gardens and green walls. Vertical gardening is a unique method of gardening where plants are grown in a vertical position or upward rather than in the traditional method of planting them on the ground. Okay? What have we understood so far? Here we have mainly understood that cities में जगह नहीं होती है ज़्यादा greenery के लिए. So one way, cities, we usually say that cities always grow vertically. Horizontally तो grow करने की जगह ही खत्म हो जाएगी. कितना expand करोगे? समंदर में थोड़ी चले जाओगे. So the only way to accommodate more people is to make multi-story buildings. So cities ऐसे grow कर रही है, तो आप gardening भी ऐसे करनी शुरू कर दो. ठीक है? Because आपको greenery तो चाहिए. Then the purpose of vertical gardens and green walls, which arises from the studies of different disciplines like landscape architects, engineers, etc., is to close the cold image of concrete and increase the visual value. In these systems, nature and structures are integrated, and thus urban areas and the desired environment have become intertwined. Vertical garden case studies often show that though functionality should be in the foreground, when vertical gardens are planned, they are generally made as aesthetic elements in the city's underpasses and city squares and decorative elements in residences without seeking functionality. Okay? Now here is a survey that was done. Experts support that the visual quality and evaluation of landscape architecture is determined based on the satisfaction of the users. Hence, a survey questionnaire was prepared for residents of varied age groups from a metropolitan city. Here are the results of the survey. Okay, so you can go through this survey. Here you can see what they feel about different aspects of vertical gardens. For example, improve quality. Do vertical gardens improve quality of life of people in urban areas? 191 people have agreed, strongly agreed. 138 have agreed. 43 are neutrals. 9 have disagreed. 19 are strongly disagreed. Okay. So you can take a look at these numbers and get a general idea of majority feels what. What does the majority feel? And the different categorizations are reduce noise pollution, increase air quality indoors and outdoors, reduce energy and water, positively impact global warming, have a relax. So you can go through this. We'll go through this as and when a question comes. Okay, we won't waste time reading this in detail right now. If a question comes, we'll come back to the table and refer to it. Okay. Now, here's this is the last part of the passage. The study acknowledged that vertical gardening has the potential to transform urban spaces into green, sustainable areas, and further research should explore the impact of vertical gardening on the environment and human well-being. So, what did intertwined ka meaning मैं बताऊंगी because there will be a question about it. Okay. So now this is a case-based passage. So here, what have we understood from the passage? We have basically understood that even though the need for vertical gardens is more to do with human well-being, the fact that greenery is necessary for human survival, the main importance that is given to vertical gardening these days is just aesthetic, which means it's just to make everything look nicer because plants look pretty everywhere, so they'll put plants. Now this G20 was happening in Delhi, you should have seen they put plants everywhere because they look very nice, correct? So right now the majority focus is given to aesthetic value of having greenery, not the functionality or what kind of benefits does it bring to people in urban areas. Okay? All right. Let's see. Complete the following analogy appropriately based on your understanding of paragraphs 1 and 2. What is an analogy? It's a comparison between two things, okay? When we say that the situation of people living in concrete structures is comparable with a fish living in a fish bowl, and the need for vertical gardens to the need for decorations in the fish bowl, because what will you say? What will you say? A fish that is living in a fish bowl needs certain kind of decorations. Yeah, a fish living in an aquarium will need certain kind of decorations. Why is that? And how does that relate to humans living in concrete buildings and the need for vertical gardens around humans? How will you compare these two things? Okay, you're saying it provides greenery in less space, fine, but how does that compare to a fish in a fish bowl? If you're going to answer this question, you need to address the analogy. If you don't talk about the analogy, you will not get marks. So fish in a fish bowl is given a certain kind of environment so that the fish feels like it's in the ocean. है ना? Fish को feeling आएगी कि वो ocean में है, जबकि वो ocean में है नहीं, वो आपके घर में है. So it's to simulate its natural environment, correct? Fish का natural environment simulate करने के लिए हम उसको decorations देते हैं fish bowl में. Yes, to artificial ecology बोल सकते हो उसको. Very good. So similarly, humans को भी आदत थी हमेशा ग्रीनरी में रहने की, पर अब पॉपुलेशन इतनी बढ़ रही है, स्पेस इतनी कम हो रही है, हम कंक्रीट बिल्डिंग्स में रह रहे हैं. टू सिमुलेट दैट नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट दैट मेक्स ह्यूमन बीइंग्स थ्राइव, वर्टिकल गार्डन्स विल अचीव दैट पर्पस. ओके, okay, and very good, team 7 guy, great answer. So the greenery is, you can talk about the walls of the aquarium or the fish bowl to the concrete walls that we have created, correct? So you understood what the question is asking, what an analogy means, and how you have to address both parts of the analogy to be able to answer the question. Okay, got it? All right, let's go to the next question. Now you have to fill in the blanks with the appropriate option from those given in brackets based on your understanding of paragraph 2. Paragraph 2. Ash, the question has given you an analogy. You have to complete it. आधी analogy दी है, आपको पूरी करनी है. Analogy क्या होता है? Comparison होता है दो चीजों का. ठीक है? तो we can say that the situation of people living in concrete structures is comparable with a fish living in a fish bowl, and the need for vertical gardens to the need for decoration in the fish bowl, because तो आपको ये समझाना है कि जो ह्यूमंस है अर्बन एरियाज में रह रहे हैं और जो फिश है जो फिश बोल में रह रही है, और वर्टिकल गार्डन्स ह्यूमंस के लिए और फिश के लिए डेकोरेशंस फिश बोल में, दोनों कंपेयर किए जा सकते हैं क्योंकि नाउ यू हैव टू गिव रीजंस फॉर कंपैरिजन. ठीक है, विच वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. ओके, यू अंडरस्टूड? ग्रेट. All right. So here we have to fill in the blanks. Paragraph 2 is given right below. The question statement is the statement that urban spaces have become more closely connected with the desired natural surroundings through the incorporation of nature and structures in vertical gardens and green walls is a blank because it is a blank. I just explained to you what objective and subjective means. I hope you remember it. Objective is unbiased, okay, just analyzing facts, and subjective is letting your own bias, your own opinion creep in. Okay, so here, is it a fact that the urban areas have become more closely connected with nature? No, the entire paragraph talked about how not enough research is being done about this. The entire paragraph was saying that it's only plants and vertical gardening is only being done for aesthetic value, to make things look pretty, and not enough research has been done on the functionality. And here what does it say? The purpose of vertical gardens and green walls, which arises from the studies of different disciplines, is to close the cold image of concrete and increase the visual value. In these systems, nature and structures are integrated, and thus urban areas in the desired environment have become intertwined. Now this is a, yes, very good, is an opinion. Okay, it's a viewpoint. There might be evidence, little bit, but most of it is just other people's opinions. A survey tells you people's opinion. There is no empirical evidence that the gap has been closed. Okay, there are no there are no experiments, you can say, that have been done to prove this. So we can call this an opinion, and we can call it a subjective judgment, not an objective detail. Okay, got it? Because Sangeeta, it doesn't, this is a viewpoint of people that, it makes me feel closer to nature. Is it really bridging that gap? If something makes you feel a certain way, does that mean that is the reality? No, it's just a feeling that is evoked in you. And when feelings, opinions, all of these things come in, or when you can say when emotions and feelings come in, then you're moving away from fact and you're going to opinion. You're moving away from objectivity and you're coming towards subjectivity. Okay? Objectivity में emotions के लिए personal bias के लिए कोई जगह नहीं है. सब्जेक्टिविटी में इमोशनल आपका जो भी रिलेशनशिप है उस चीज के साथ, या आपके पर्सनल बायस के लिए जगह है. ओके, दैट्स द डिफरेंस बिटवीन ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड सब्जेक्टिव. ओके, your teacher told you that if a given statement is in paragraph, no, that's C. A given statement, you have to understand the entire gist of the paragraph. When we were going through the survey details, let me go back and show you. Here, what does the last line say? The study acknowledged that vertical gardening has the potential to transform urban spaces into green sustainable areas, and further research should explore. So here they are themselves suggesting that further research should explore the impact of vertical gardening on environment and human well-being. This shows us that not enough research has been done. So when research has not been done for something, when you cannot prove something with evidence, then it's not a fact, it's an opinion. Okay, that's the difference between fact and opinion. Okay, all right. Now here, this is where we were. Justify the following in about 40 words. What are you supposed to justify? While the survey results suggest that vertical gardens may be effective in improving the quality of life in urban areas, further research and evaluation may be necessary to fully understand the effectiveness and potential drawbacks. Again, this question itself is saying that we need to do further research. We don't know yet. Okay, how are you going to justify this? Justify means you have to agree with this. You're supposed to agree with this. Okay. So here you look at the different areas. Fact will not always go with opinion. Opinions can be different. It's not a fact that pizza is the tastiest food in the world. It's some people's opinion that pizza is the tastiest food in the world. Okay? But is it a fact that pizza is very high on calories? Yeah, that is a fact. Got it? That's not an opinion. In my opinion, pizza doesn't have a lot of calories. I cannot say that. Okay? Alright, so here what will we say to justify? We will say true, because the majority of participants strongly agree that vertical gardens can improve the quality of life. Okay, and have a relaxing and calming effect. But what does the survey does not say? It does not provide information on the long-term effectiveness. And again, a very important thing that you can say here, that a survey at the end of the day is a collection of people's opinions. When I'm taking a survey, I'm coming and asking you a question, you will tell me how you feel. So survey at the end of the day gives us how people feel, gives us information about how people feel about something, but that cannot be taken as empirical evidence. Okay, got it? Understood? So that's how you will justify it. And whenever you're supposed to justify something, that means you're supposed to agree with a given statement. Alright? Okay. Next, based on the survey results, which two concerns should a city government looking to install vertical gardens address? इसके लिए आपको simple चीज करनी है. You're just going to look at the points in the survey और इसमें से जो negative points हैं उनको खींच के निकालो. Improve quality of life तो अच्छी बात है, noise pollution कम करा अच्छी बात है. नीचे नीचे जाओगे तो आप देखोगे cost एक issue है. Okay, that is something that has a negative impact. और डिस्ट्रैक्ट ड्राइवर्स, हियर वी आर, वो एक है. सो आप क्या बोल सकते हो कि क्या क्या चीजें, आप इनसे रिलेटेड कुछ भी बोल सकते हो. तो एक आप बोल सकते हो कि दे शुड लुक इनटू द कॉस्ट ऑफ बोथ इंस्टॉलेशन एंड मेंटेनेंस ऑफ दीज वर्टिकल गार्डन्स. हाउ मच इज इट गोइंग टू कॉस्ट टू सेट देम अप, हाउ मच इज इट गोइंग टू कॉस्ट टू मेंटेन देम. नेक्स्ट, विल इट डिस्ट्रैक्ट ड्राइवर्स. फूल पत्तियां देखते देखते यहाँ पे 2 गाड़ियां भिड़ गई, एक्सीडेंट हो गया, ये भी नहीं होना चाहिए. करेक्ट. सो सेफ्टी ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन, इज इट गोइंग टू डिस्ट्रैक्ट ड्राइवर्स? Okay, is it going to pose any threat to anybody? You can add more, like funds are best used for other social issues. So to make sure that the funds allocated for vertical gardening are not taken away from other important causes, this is also a point that you can put. Okay. Team 7 guy, it is true? Okay, you're giving the answer for this. Can it be 11 are inconvenient indoors? But see, city government installing gardens is not going to force themselves into your house and install gardens into your house, correct? So point 11 is more of a personal choice. मेरी spending capacity क्या है, मेरे पास कितना space है मेरे घर में, क्या मैं install कर सकती हूँ? Personal choice. Government cannot force you to make a garden inside your house, correct? ठीक है? Okay, next. In table 1, the statement 3 vertical gardens increase air quality indoors and outdoors receive the most neutral responses from participants, with 51 respondents indicating a neutral stance. So, state one inference that can be drawn for this. So, what is an inference? You're going to try and understand why these people gave a neutral response, or why these people took a neutral stance. What is the reason these people took a neutral stance? Because you can give many different reasons. So the reasons that come into my mind is कि हम लोगों को air quality index measure करना नहीं आता है. Whenever we want to find out what the AQI is, we just look it up. Correct? We look it up on our phones. Then government gives us information कि AQI ये है. So it's not something that people can measure. So it's not something that they can see in front of their eyes. It's not like I put plant, first I measure AQI, then I'm like, okay, AQI is not that great. I put plants, then I measure AQI again, and I'm like, oh, it's gotten better. I cannot collect that evidence because I don't have the device or the capacity to measure the AQI inside my house. So it's something that I cannot measure. It's something that I don't have first-hand information about. It's just something that I am supposed to believe. That's why I cannot be too sure that it has improved the quality. That is one point you can give. Another point you can give is that people don't have awareness or education about this. People don't know that these having plants indoors can actually improve the air quality of your house. So not having awareness, not knowing, okay? You can understand how you're going to draw inferences. This is why people have given a neutral response, because they are not sure. There's no reason for them to be sure, okay? Alright, whoever was asking me the question of intertwined, here we are. Select the option that correctly displays what intertwined signifies. So, intertwined, जो word आया था आपके paragraph में, if you go back, then there's another word that comes with it. If I go back, it's going to take too much time. Chalo, I'll do it anyway. Okay. Here's intertwined and here's the word integrated. They're coming in the same sentence. Okay. In these systems, nature and structures are integrated and thus urban areas and the desired environment have become intertwined. Integrated and intertwined are in the same sentence being used in the same way. Intertwined का मतलब आपको नहीं आता. Integrated का मतलब आता है. Integrated का मतलब आता है. Intertwined का नहीं आता, कोई बात नहीं. Integrated का आता है कि नहीं? आता है ना? तो आप समझ सकते हो कि intertwined का मतलब integrated से मिलता जुलता होगा. The meaning of intertwined will be somewhat related to integrated. You can make that assumption, correct? This is how you're going to guess the meaning of word in your paper, okay? And if I were to tell you that इसमें से which image looks like integrated, what is the visual representation of integrated? Which one of these? You'll say 2, correct? 2 only looks like integrated. So, intertwined भी 2 ही है. Okay? इंटरट्वाइंड भी टू ही है. इंटरट्वाइंड का मतलब होता है कि ऐसे वे में कनेक्ट होना कि आप उनको आपको वो एक ही चीज लगेगी. इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सेपरेट. ओके, it will be very difficult to separate. Integrated means they have come together and become one. Something gets integrated into something, they both come together, two things come together and become one thing. Intertwined has a very similar meaning. Two things twist together aise in such a way that it's difficult to separate them. Okay, and both of these can be visually represented through this image. Okay, got it? No, third one is not integrate. Why would you say third one is making a U-turn? Yes, like integrated subjects and projects. Very good. Okay, this is how you can guess the meaning of a word that you don't know. So you don't have to panic whenever you have a question about a word that you don't know. Go back to the passage, read where that word is coming, and you will be able to guess what the word means. Okay? All right. Infer one benefit and one drawback of vertical gardening in comparison to other solutions such as community gardens or parks. Community gardens या parks. So benefit आपको देना है vertical garden का और आपको drawback देना है vertical gardening का जब आप उसको compare कर रहे हो gardens से. So advantage में आप क्या बोल सकते हो कि gardens के लिए you need a lot of space whereas vertical gardens can be installed in lesser space. ठीक है? So you don't need a lot of horizontal real estate to make a vertical garden. All you need is height, which can keep going up because sky का तो कोई limit है नहीं. Correct? So it's space efficient. Very good. Great job. And disadvantages, it may not provide as much space for outdoor recreation as community gardens or parks do. So that open space, that greenery all around you, being able to enjoy that greenery by running, by playing sports, by taking a walk, that kind of a feel vertical gardens cannot give you. Okay? Got it? Less space. See, there's less space horizontally, but vertically you have all the space. But that's again, it'll not be greenery as far as the eyes can see. It'll be greenery as up as the eyes can see. Okay, so that's a little weird. It goes against human nature. We like looking at things like this. We don't like looking at things like this. Correct? So vertical gardens हमें ऐसे देखने पड़ेंगे, which is not a natural way for us to enjoy nature. Okay, but it can be something that we grow into, and it's a creative solution to the problem of lack of space, lack of real estate. Okay. Tourist attractiveness में you can use that as an advantage of vertical gardens also because some vertical gardens look beautiful. They look amazing. You should look up some pictures. Okay? Yeah, no space for outdoor recreation or be doing things in a community. All right. Again, last question from this section. Which of the following is the main takeaway from the study mentioned in the passage? What is your main takeaway? Vertical garden has minimal impact on the environment or human well-being. That's not what they said. They did not say that it has minimal impact. It does have impact. So this cannot be your correct answer. Vertical gardening is a sustainable practice that can transform urban spaces into green areas. That is what they said. Concrete को green कर दो तो urban areas में भी greenery आ जाएगी. This seems like the correct answer. The impact of vertical gardening on the environment and human well-being has already been thoroughly explored. No, again and again, like I've told you, the paragraph says that it hasn't been explored enough and we can explore it more. The study needs to include experts from horticultural firms to offer any recommendations for further research. Not anywhere in the paragraph was this mentioned. They mentioned experts such as architects and landscape architects and engineers. They did not mention horticultural experts. So this is not a correct answer. Okay? All right, that's it for our reading section. Easy peasy. You'll be able to do it in the exam. You figured out how to rationalize your answers, how your brain should work while reading a passage. Okay? And if you keep practicing this, very easily you will be able to get all the answers right. It's not something very difficult. It's not something to be so scared of. जितना आप लोग डरते हो रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन से उतनी मुश्किल है नहीं, चाहे आपको वर्ड्स उसमें ना भी आते हो. ओके ऑल राइट, टाइम फॉर सम ग्रामर. आपको सिर्फ 10 आउट ऑफ 12 करने पड़ेंगे एग्जाम में, लेकिन आज हम सारे कर लेते हैं. ओके, ऑल राइट. आंसर दे दिया सबने, हाईलाइट्स हाईलाइट्स हाईलाइट्स. अब मुझे रीजन बताओ आंसर का. द क्वेश्चन वाज, this is with reference to committee's letter of recommendation that blank the nominations for safe residential area award for this current year. The word that you need to fill is highlight का एक form. Why is it highlights? आंसर तो सबने दे दिया, रीजन बताओ मुझे आंसर का. क्यों है? हमारा सब्जेक्ट क्या है जिसके अकॉर्डिंगली हम वर्ब लिखेंगे? हाईलाइट्स होना चाहिए. वेरी गुड, आई अग्री विद यू. हमारा सब्जेक्ट क्या है जिसके अकॉर्डिंग हम वर्ब को सिंगुलर बना रहे हैं? नो, सोनी, हृदयांश. कौन? वो कौन है टीम 7? वो कौन है? वेरी गुड ऐश, इट्स द लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन. क्या हाईलाइट करती है? लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन हाईलाइट कर रही है ना. ओके, इसीलिए सिंगुलर है. हाईलाइट्स. ऑल राइट. अगर लेटर्स होता तो, अगर लेटर्स ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन होता तो, हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई? यू जस्ट हैव टू लुक एट द वर्ब, एंड वर्ब जो एक्शन कर रही है, वो वर्ब का जो एक्शन है वो कौन कर रहा है सेंटेंस में? वर्ब का जो एक्शन है वो कौन कर रहा है? कौन हाईलाइट कर रहा है नॉमिनेशंस? कमिटी हाईलाइट कर रही है कि लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन हाईलाइट कर रही है? लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन हाईलाइट कर रही है ना. समझे? सो दिस इज विद रेफरेंस टू द कमिटीज लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन दैट हाईलाइट्स द नॉमिनेशंस. ओके, और अगर लेटर्स होता तो हाईलाइट हो जाता. वेरी गुड, ठीक है. करेक्ट आंसर इज हाईलाइट्स. ग्रेट जॉब. एसवीसी का क्वेश्चन था, इजी था. ठीक है. नाउ you have to find the error over here. The delightful recipe must keep your hunger pangs at bay with its balanced spices and oriental flavor. Okay, what is the answer over here? आंसर तो सबको पता है, मार्किंग स्कीम देख के पता चल जाएगा. मुझे रीजन चाहिए आंसर का क्या है. एरर मस्ट है. करेक्शन, दिस डिलाइटफुल रेसिपी कैन ज्यादा अच्छा साउंड कर रहा है कि विल ज्यादा अच्छा साउंड कर रहा है? ओके, व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अ रेसिपी दैट मे बी आई हैव रिटन और आई एम recommending, and I want to convince you to make this recipe, or I want to convince you to eat what I've made, will I say can? There's a possibility कि आपको अच्छी लगेगी, आपको बहुत अच्छी लगेगी, आपको खाना ही खाना है. क्या बोलूंगी मैं? कि शायद आपको अच्छी लगेगी. पॉसिबिलिटी है कि नहीं, आप खाओ, आपको बहुत अच्छी लगेगी, मुझे पता है. क्या बोलूंगी मैं? फर्स्ट चीज बोलूंगी कि सेकंड चीज बोलूंगी? सेकंड चीज बोलूंगी ना. सो इट कैन मेक यू फील हैप्पी, इट कैन कीप योर हंगर पैंग्स एट बे, और इट विल कीप योर हंगर पैंग्स एट. विल ज्यादा अच्छा साउंड कर रहा है. ठीक है. So understand the intention of the sentence. Intention समझिए sentence का, तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा मॉडल कौन सा यूज करना है. मस्ट क्यों नहीं है? मस्ट में आप, जरूरी तो नहीं है, मैं अपनी तरफ से दावा कर सकती हूँ कि ऐसा होगा, बट देयर स्टिल अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि आपको नहीं अच्छी लगेगी ना मेरी रेसिपी. तो मस्ट मतलब कि वो होना ही होना चाहिए, ऐसा तो नहीं है. ठीक है. समझ गए मॉडल्स का यूज कब कैसे होता है? वेरी गुड. ओके. Abhilash and Neha had a conversation about the inauguration of Neha's Dance Academy. Report Abhilash's question. क्या question पूछा अभिलाष ने नेहा को? Is your best friend helping you in this venture? अब हम इसको रिपोर्ट करेंगे. तो पहली बात तो अभिलाष ने क्या किया? अभिलाष ने क्या किया? क्वेश्चन पूछा. सो अभिलाष आस्क्ड. किसको पूछा? नेहा को पूछा. यस और नो क्वेश्चन था, तो इफ और वेदर यूज करेंगे. इफ लगा लेते हैं, छोटा है, लिखने में ज्यादा इजी है. इफ योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड क्या हो जाएगा, किसका? जब अभिलाष नेहा से बात कर रहा था तो उसने योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड पूछा, अभी हम योर को कर देंगे हर. इफ हर बेस्ट फ्रेंड, ये बॉयफ्रेंड नहीं बेस्ट फ्रेंड है, ठीक है, इज, टेंस में पीछे चले जाएंगे, वॉज हेल्पिंग हर इन दिस वेंचर, क्या हो जाएगा, दैट वेंचर, दैट वेंचर. ओके, क्वेश्चन मार्क क्यों डाल दिया मैंने, फुल स्टॉप. हाँ, समझे? नो डाउट्स? ठीक है. नाउ हियर अगेन फिर से हम लोग रिपोर्टेड स्पीच करेंगे. सारा, व्हाई डिड यू चूज टू पार्टिसिपेट इन दिस इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम? Shabnam, I'm convinced this program has the potential to enhance my abilities. Select the correct option to complete the reporting of the above dialogue. Okay, so क्या सारा, Shabnam, blank. एक तो मैंने थोड़ा सा नोटिस किया CBSE सैम्पल पेपर्स में ना, ये लोग लड़कियों को मेल के प्रोनाउन दे रहे हैं, लड़कों को फीमेल के प्रोनाउन दे रहे हैं, थोड़े से टाइपोज. ओके, क्या होगा इसमें? वैसे तो शबनम लड़कियों का नाम होता है, आई अग्री, बट कोई बात नहीं. सारा, शबनम, वाई, यही हमारे पास है, शी होना चाहिए, ही हो गया. वाई ही हैड चोजन टू पार्टिसिपेट इन दैट इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम. ठीक है, गॉट इट? वेरी गुड. कोई डाउट एकदम होगा तो पूछ लेना, जो इजी है उसमें मैं आगे बढ़ रही हूँ. ओके, fill in the blank by choosing the correct option to complete the concluding line of an issued circular by an organization to its managers. A copy of the plan is enclosed and dash may be communicated to all team leaders for compliance. Yes, this may be communicated. Okay, then तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं है, that और this में confusion होगा. Okay, पर हम that we talk about, see this और that में क्या है? This, we are talking about something that is present close to you, or that is relevant currently, or that's something that you are talking about right now, and that दूर का बात. okay? कोई दूर की बात रेफरेंस कर रहे हो या कोई दूर पड़ी हुई चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हो, तो that हमेशा डिस्टेंस में होगा, this हमेशा पास में होगा. इसमें copy of the plan is enclosed and this may be communicated to all team leaders. So you are presently talking about this. It is something that is relevant currently. Okay. So this करेंगे. ठीक है? हाँ, issued circular. क्या प्रॉब्लम है इसमें? सर्कुलर इशू हुआ था मतलब सर्कुलर लगा था. ओके, ठीक है. Identify the error and supply correction for the given sentence for a commercial company current marketing strategy. Do you think I should try rapping? The way I read this so fast, I'm convinced I'll be good at rapping. If you think so, give me a thumbs up. Okay. The company aimed at increasing authority in areas frequently visited by the clients. What is the error over here and what is the correction? Okay. I look like us. Even I think I look like Asmita. Good. Well noticed. Okay. Error is aimed. Should be aims. Reason being, it's a current marketing strategy. Okay. So company aims at increasing. It's a current marketing strategy. It's not a past marketing strategy. हमने पास्ट में हमारी स्ट्रैटेजी क्या थी, क्या किया था, उसके बारे में नहीं बात करें, करंट स्ट्रैटेजी की बात करें, तो पास्ट टेंस में नहीं, प्रेजेंट टेंस में होना चाहिए. ओके, ऑल राइट, नेक्स्ट. वेरी इजी. कितनी बारी हम इस बारे में बात कर चुके हैं. इन कंक्लूजन, द स्टडी एक्सप्लोर्स द एसोसिएशन अमंग शॉर्ट स्लीप पैटर्न एंड ओवरवेट यंगस्टर्स. एसोसिएशन कितने चीजों के बीच में है? 2 चीजों के बीच में है. शॉर्ट स्लीप पैटर्न, ओवरवेट यंगस्टर्स. सो 2 चीजों के बीच में कोई बात होती है तो हम अमंग यूज करते हैं कि बिटवीन यूज करते हैं? बिटवीन यूज करेंगे. यस, सो द करेक्ट आंसर इज अमंग, बिटवीन. ओके, वेरी इजी. ये सारा error correction, again, I don't know why all of you are so scared of error correction. I felt like the easiest grammar questions were error correction questions only. Easiest. Okay. Complete the given narrative. The experience of nursing an injured bird left me dash grateful for knowing the importance of being kind and compassionate to all creatures. What is the correct answer? This one's a little tricky. You'll be able to get the correct answer, but you won't be able to tell me why it's the correct answer. That's the tricky part. Okay, you know A. Now tell me why. Why is that the correct answer? Why is A the correct answer? Can anyone tell me? कोई भी अगर एक, I'll wait for like a minute if you can give me the answer. It's good that you are able to understand the answer. मैंने बहुत बारी बोला है कि आपको हो सकता है रीजन ना पता हो, पर आपको इतनी आदत है इंग्लिश बोलने की कि आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि करेक्ट आंसर क्या है. फीलिंग होना चाहिए. वेरी गुड प्रिया, अमेजिंग, क्लैप्स फॉर प्रिया. सो हियर फीलिंग जब हम देख रहे हैं तो हम बिना सोचे समझे ये बोल रहे हैं कि ये तो वर्ब होगा. अब क्या हो जाता है प्रॉब्लम, वर्ब में हमें लगता है कि यार ये आईएनजी फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब है, क्या है, क्यों है, कैसे है, ये सब सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. हमारा वर्ब इस सेंटेंस में एक्चुअली ये है, लेफ्ट. ठीक है. द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ नर्सिंग एन इंजर्ड बर्ड लेफ्ट मी. लेफ्ट मी. लेफ्ट इज आवर वर्ब. लीव का पास्ट टेंस लेफ्ट. तो टेंस एस्टैब्लिश हमारे वर्ब से हो चुका है. लेफ्ट मी फीलिंग ग्रेटफुल. फीलिंग ग्रेटफुल, इसमें जो हमारा फीलिंग है, it's not acting like a verb at all. Okay, it's a gerund acting like a noun. Okay, got it? It's a state, feeling grateful. To understand this better, I want you to substitute. सोचो कि सेंटेंस यही खत्म हो जाता है. The experience of nursing an injured bird left me. Reason is okay. Left me satisfied, happy, grateful तो दिया हुआ है, grateful. ठीक है. ये सारे फीलिंग्स हैं जो आप फील कर सकते हो. तो जनरली जब हम ये लिखेंगे तो हम फ्रेज लेफ्ट मी फीलिंग यूज करते हैं, जिसमें फीलिंग के बाद जो भी आएगा वो मिलके आपका स्टेट बताएगा. फीलिंग हैप्पी, फीलिंग सैड, फीलिंग डिप्रेस्ड, फीलिंग ग्रेटफुल, फीलिंग ओवरजॉयड, फीलिंग सस्पिशियस, व्हाटएवर. ओके, एंड लेफ्ट इज योर वर्ब. ठीक है, दैट्स व्हाई. ओके, गॉट इट. बट दोज ऑफ यू हु स्पीक इंग्लिश, यू विल नो लेफ्ट मी फीलिंग फ्रेज आपको पता होगा, आपने यूज किया होगा बहुत बार. ठीक है. नाउ reported question again. Vendor, it's nice to see you, sir. Customer, yes indeed. Unlike last month, I have been away for quite some time this month. Okay, very busy customer. Let's see. The vendor greeted his customer respectfully and mentioned that he was pleased to see him. The customer answered in the affirmative. What does that mean? When you answer in the affirmative or when you answer in the negative. Affirmative means you agree. Okay? When you agree with somebody. So affirmative में आप positive response दे रहे हो. So he answered in the affirmative and explained that unlike last month को क्या कर देंगे? Last month the very good previous month. I को क्या करेंगे? Pronoun को he. हैव को क्या करेंगे? हैड बीन अवे फॉर क्वाइट सम टाइम, सेम होएगा. दिस को क्या करेंगे? दैट मंथ. ओके, सो क्या क्या ध्यान रखना है आपको? प्रोनाउंस, टेंस, डेमोन्स्ट्रेटिव्स, एडवर्ब्स. ओके, लास्ट मंथ, प्रीवियस मंथ, यस्टरडे. यस्टरडे को क्या करोगे? टुमारो को क्या करोगे, जल्दी से बता दो। दिस को दैट करोगे, ये तो पता है। यस, द प्रीवियस डे। तो वैसे ही येस्टरडे को प्रीवियस डे किया, लास्ट मंथ को प्रीवियस मंथ कर दिया, लास्ट ईयर को प्रीवियस ईयर कर दोगे। टुमारो को नेक्स्ट डे किया तो अगले महीने को नेक्स्ट मंथ कर दोगे, और अगले साल को नेक्स्ट ईयर। ओके, इजी। या और द डे बिफोर ऑल्सो वर्क्स। यस, वेरी गुड। सो चेकलिस्ट क्या है? रिपोर्टेड स्पीच checklist. Every time you have a yes or no question, it will be a statement with if or whether. Okay? Whether के spelling में WEATHER मत लिखाना, whether के spelling नहीं याद आ रहे होंगे तो if लिख देना please. Okay? And then you will make sure your pronouns you're changing correctly. You will make sure that your tense you're changing correctly, your demonstratives you're changing correctly, and your adverbs you're changing correctly. Okay? Very good. ठीक है. Fill in the blank by choosing the correct option to complete the live feed on a school news channel. Congratulations, change makers! The regional competition awards have been announced and our school music club bagged the first prize. Oh wow! What's the correct answer here? And you need to tell me the tense. Correct answer तो आप बता दोगे, बता ही दिया है। किस tense में है ये? Has one. करेक्ट आंसर तो मार्किंग स्कीम से पता चल जाएगा, मुझे टेंस बताओ क्या है। हाँ, वेरी गुड ऐश, यू मेड द परफेक्ट कनेक्शन, यू हैव वेरी गुड परफेक्ट टेंस। यस, और प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट का मतलब क्या है कि हो सकता है कि पास्ट में हुआ हो, जो भी हम बात कर रहे हैं, जिस भी चीज के एक्शन की हम बात कर रहे हैं, हो सकता है वो थोड़े पास्ट में हुआ हो, पर उसके रेपरकशंस, उसके आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स, उसकी रियलिटी अभी भी प्रेजेंट है, तभी वो प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट है। ठीक है? ओके, गॉट इट? इजी। कंप्लीट द लाइन फ्रॉम अ सेल्फ अवेयरनेस सॉन्ग बाय फिलिंग द ब्लैंक विद द करेक्ट ऑप्शन। थोड़ा क्रिएटिव टाइप का क्वेश्चन आया है, डरना नहीं है क्रिएटिव क्वेश्चन से। लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट इट। द रिवर रन्स थ्रू योर वेन्स, द ट्रीज एंड माउंटेन्स ब्लैंक योर नेम, द मून एंड स्टार्स वॉच ओवर, यू आर गाइडिंग योर वे बैक होम टू ड्रीम द नाइट अवे। नाउ let's do one exercise over here very quickly. Imagine all these lines are not there. Imagine all these lines are not there. Okay, now will you be able to get to the correct answer? The trees and mountains will call your name. सही लग रहा है. The trees and mountains call your name. सही लग रहा है. The trees and mountains had called your name. सही लग रहा है. The trees and mountains calls your name, ये गलत है. ये तो गलत है. एक तो आउट हो गया. पर बाकी तीन तो सही हो सकते हैं ना. इशू क्या है? हमें टेंस नहीं पता. हमें टेंस नहीं पता. हम टेंस कैसे पता करेंगे? बहुत इजी है. पोएम दी हुई है आपको पूरी. बाकी की पोएम किस टेंस में है? The river runs through your veins. Okay? The moon and stars watch over. So now now your confusion should end. D तो वैसे ही आउट हो गया. SVC की वजह से ही आउट हो गया. Because the poem is in present tense, your answer will also have to be in present tense. Will call नहीं, had call नहीं, call. Call versus calls. ये जो confusion है, ये आपकी SVC से आउट हो जाएगी. Trees and mountains. And लग जाता है तो हमारा subject क्या हो जाता है? और होता तो क्या होता? And है तो क्या हो जाता है? कॉम्पाउंड सब्जेक्ट हो जाता है. बात की है हमने इसके बारे में पहले. हाँ, तो दो चीजें आ गई हैं आपके सब्जेक्ट में, मतलब प्लूरल हो जाएगा. But there is the trees, the mountains, the trees and mountains. उससे क्या लेना देना है द से? ओके? दो चीजें है ना, ट्रीज भी है, माउंटेन्स भी है, और दोनों ही एक से ज्यादा है. सो यू फॉरगेट कि माउंटेन्स भी है अगर, तो ट्रीज भी एक ट्री थोड़ी है. एक ट्री है कि मल्टीपल ट्रीज हैं? मल्टीपल ट्रीज है तो प्लूरल हो गया ना। तो पहली बात तो आपका जो एक सब्जेक्ट होगा वो भी प्लूरल है, प्लस ये कॉम्पाउंड सब्जेक्ट है, दो चीजें हैं इसमें। ठीक है, दोनों रीजंस की वजह से कॉल्स तो हो ही नहीं सकता, तो आउट ऑफ द पिक्चर है। ठीक है, गॉट इट? ओके, can anyone please tell me what's wrong with what Yo has just said, that they're plural so will require singular verb? Now this confusion you need to get rid of right now. Is that correct? Something is plural, subject is plural, will it require a singular verb? Is this the rule of SVC? We are saying they should agree with each other. Subject and verb agreement. If one is singular, one is plural, are they agreeing with each other? No. So the rule, yo, be very clear about this, is that if subject is plural, verb will be plural. If subject is singular, verb will be singular. The confusion lies in the fact is that हम जब noun को plural बनाते हैं, tree noun है singular, हमें इसको प्लूरल बनाना है तो हमने इसमें एस लगा दिया। ठीक है, अब इसका एकदम उल्टा होता है वर्ब में। कॉल जो है हमारा प्लूरल वर्ब है, हमें इसको सिंगुलर बनाना है तो हम एस लगा देंगे। ठीक है, इस बात से कभी भी कंफ्यूज मत होना। ठीक है, सो द ट्री calls your name, the trees call your name. Trees and mountains call your name. ठीक है, got it? No confusion now in this, okay? No confusion. Perfect. Okay, great job. Now next, identify the error. Oh, note, passengers will not reach the airport late in order to avoid a fine equivalent to 5% of the basic fare. Error क्या है? Okay, error will है, correction should है, very good. क्यों? पैसेंजर्स तो लेट होंगे, विल नॉट रीच लेट मतलब क्या, कोई ना कोई तो लेट लतीफ होता है, हमेशा लेट तो पहुंचता ही है ना? आपको एयरलाइन क्या बोल रही है कि हमारा सजेशन है या हमारा रूल है, ये हम बहुत मस्ट यूज करके नहीं बोल रहे, हम आपको प्यार से बता रहे हैं कि आप मत लेट पहुंचना वरना आपको 5% फाइन देनी पड़ेगी. सो द पैसेंजर्स शुड नॉट रीच लेट. टू अवॉइड द फाइन, passengers should not reach late. Okay, got it? Okay, you're asking me if, or see, in the last question, और अगर मैं इसमें कर दूं, then also you have to analyze these individually. Individually it's still trees. Individually it's still mountains. S तो है ही ना. Individually also they are plural. That's why the answer will still be call. The trees or mountains call your name. Okay? Because individually they are still plural, it will still be call. Okay? Alright, next question is writing. Now what we're going to do for writing section is, there's no real point in spending too much time reading out these letters because you can do it on your own. Okay? And we're going to have many more detailed sessions on writing where we'll discuss tips and tricks to get better at this. Essentially, all you need to do in your writing section is that you need to follow the format properly. Okay, which is your sender's address, date, receiver's address, subject, salutation, intro, body, conclusion, and signing off. Okay? Complimentary close. This is the basic format you need to follow in all your letters. If you follow the format, you're going to get full marks for format. Now, when it comes to the content of the letter, most of the information you will get, if one noun is singular and with or, and the other one is plural, still one is plural, then your verb will also be plural. Okay? One of them is plural, your verb will be plural. ठीक है? ठीक है. Now let's take a look at only one letter quickly, just to see how much information you can gather from the question itself. Okay? So you're getting your name, Vaishali Nathani, you're getting your sender's address, okay? And you're getting your, you believe that forming ecology clubs and appointing eco-minders in your city can aid in the preservation and conservation of nature. So you're getting the reason for writing the letter. Then MLA of your city area, again you're getting your receiver's address from here, suggesting the need to form such clubs, share the importance and implications, recommend the involvement. So you're getting so much information from your question only. क्या क्या लिखना है आपको सब मिल गया अपने question से. You just have to elaborate. So here you've just elaborated. Okay? So you go through this letter when you have the time, because we don't have to waste so much time going through each letter. And we'll do more writing wale section mein practice, so that you're able to form letters on your own. There are certain things that you can look out for. How to start a letter to the MLA. If you're writing for a particular purpose, you can always start by saying this letter is written, this letter is to inform you about blah 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 blah. This letter is written to express my concern about blah blah blah. This letter is written to bring your attention to blah blah blah. So this is how you can start these letters that you're writing to a higher official, an MLA, you know, somebody in the municipal corporation, the secretary of your RW society, whoever it is. जिससे भी आप कोई काम करवाना चाहते हो और आप उनको reasons दे रहे हो, then you want to bring their attention to something, you want to express your concern about something. This is the way to start your letter. So you can just memorize these 1 or 2 lines and always start your letter like this. Okay? Blah 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 मत लिख देना exam में. Okay, Rengoku, the body of the letter, information is already given to you over here. क्या क्या लिखना है आपको? Importance और implications लिखने हैं आपको ecology clubs के, involvement of resident volunteers for implementation of eco club activities, इसके बारे में लिखना है, and that nurture and protect the local ecosystem. ठीक है? So you just have to talk about eco club awareness raise करना कितना important है, हमारी environment का ध्यान रखना कितना important है. अगर हम सबको बताएंगे नहीं कि हम we need to take care of our environment, then it's going to deteriorate and it's going to ultimately affect us only. So these are the things you need to expand upon. Just use the knowledge that you have on these topics and write a cute little letter. Nothing too complicated. And you can go through what is written over here to get an idea. The more you read, the more examples you go through, the better you'll get at letter writing. Okay? 120 words फरजाना लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे. ये देखो इतने clearly आपको दिया हुआ है 120 words में लिखना है. ठीक है? इको एक्टिविटी एनीथिंग. इको जब भी हम लिखते हैं, इको फ्रेंडली का मतलब क्या होता है? मतलब वो सस्टेनेबल चीजें यूज कर रहा है, इट्स यूजिंग रिन्यूएबल गुड्स और एनर्जी, इट्स समथिंग दैट डजंट हार्म आवर एनवायरनमेंट. ओके, वो इको वर्ड वहां पे यूज होता है. ठीक है? So again, I will urge you to read the prompt, read the letter, और format में तो don't lose marks, please. Easiest thing is to gain marks for format. Alright, you can do it. You can write it in 2 pages. So how much ever space. See, some people have big handwriting, some people have small handwriting. Some people leave more space, some people leave less space. So you write and practice and see how long your letter, 120 word letter usually is, and try to maintain that page length. Okay? Alright, now here's a different type of writing where Sering of class 10th is contesting for the post of the junior school captain in the upcoming student council elections. Given below is her character. are her character traits. Acha, is the graphic, sorry. Given below is her character traits. I was telling you, that pronoun thing, it's happening here also. इधर her लिखा हुआ है, but कहीं और पे सेरिंग को मेल बना दिया. ठीक है, anyway. हाँ, ये देखो, helps his peers. तो इधर her बनाया हुआ है, इधर his बनाया हुआ है. So ये थोड़ी बहुत silly mistakes है sample paper में. तो आप कुछ भी लिखोगे, आपके marks नहीं कटेंगे because it's not your fault. Okay? Given below is her character traits graphic shared in the public domain by the school counselor for the awareness of student voters at school. Okay? Now here, what are you going to do? You are going to look at all of these points and then either you're going to support her candidature or you're going to go against it. So you're going to say ki ha, I want Sering to become the junior school captain, or you're going to say no, I do not want Sering to become the junior school captain. A lot of you struggle with starting and ending your writing portion, right? So starting and ending is already given to you. नीचे दिया हुआ है, पढ़ लेना, ठीक है? So they've already told you how you can start, how you can end. So you start and end like that. In the body, if you are supporting Sering, if you're supporting, you're going to choose the positive points. So let's see here. Is an average academic performer. That's not a positive point that you can use. Helps her peers in their difficulties, academic or personal. That's a very positive point. Maintains discipline, study routine. Positive. Focuses on excellent outcome. This can go both ways. It can be positive also, negative also. Exhibits good decision-making skills. Positive. Thrives only on appreciation. This is a negative point. Believes in one for all and all for one. Equality. Okay, positive. Is less impulsive but highly sensitive. Being sensitive can be a positive, can be a negative. It can go both ways. Works hard to achieve goals. Okay. So now we have figured out कि हमारे positive points क्या है, negative points क्या है, और वो points क्या है जो हम positive में भी use कर सकते हैं, negative में भी use कर सकते हैं. उसमें से आपको जो best points लग रहे हैं वो उठाओ, उनके basis पे लिख लो. Okay? And you can go through this. Okay? You can go through how you will write supporting the candidature and how you will write about opposing the candidature. Okay? Alright, next. This looks very overwhelming. It's not that bad. इसमें basically ये हो रहा है कि आपके school trip के लिए एक plan आया है. आपको वो plan देखना है. Plan analyze करने के बाद आपको इस plan को either approve करना है या reject करना है. लॉजिक सेम है. जो हमने सेरिंग के लिए किया था उसके पॉजिटिव क्वालिटीज क्या है, नेगेटिव क्वालिटीज क्या है, और ऐसी क्या क्वालिटीज है जो पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव दोनों वेज में आप एनालाइज कर सकते हो. सेम चीजें आपको इसमें रिकॉग्नाइज करनी है. ये प्लान्स में अच्छी चीजें क्या है, बुरी चीजें क्या है, और ऐसी क्या चीजें हैं जो आप अच्छी भी बना सकते हो, बुरी भी बना सकते हो. ये डिसाइड करने के बाद आप खुद से पूछो आप ज्यादा कन्विंस्ड अप्रूव करने के लिए हो कि रिजेक्ट करने के लिए हो. जो भी whatever you think is the better thing to do, pick that side and write about it. But you're picking only one side. So make sure you stick to that side and only give arguments for that side. Okay? Alright? Here's a solved example of accepting the proposal. You can go through it. Please, I urge you to really go through it. That's how you will understand how to make your writing better. And here is rejecting. So, come back, pause, read this, okay? Alright, we've entered our last section, which is literature, okay? Here, reference to context is like reading comprehension, except you have a little bit, you have more information about what the passage is about because you've read the chapter already. So here, the question read the given extracts and answer the question. For any one of the two in your exam, but we'll do it for all. एग्जाम में ऐसा मत करना कि आपको ऑप्शन दिया है और आप सारे क्वेश्चन करके आ रहे हो. जो आपको इजी लगता है वो करना, जितना जरूरी है उतना ही करना. ज्यादा लिखने से ज्यादा पॉइंट्स नहीं मिलने वाले. ओके? We are in the last section. We are in the reading section. So it should take, I think, max another half an hour and then we'll be done. Okay? You still lose the most marks. I think that's just lack of preparation. If you prepare properly, I'm pretty sure you're not going to lose marks here. Okay. Another very important thing to keep in mind is if you are going for perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, perfect everything, then it's not something that you need to be that concerned about. As long as what you're writing makes sense, doesn't have too many errors, okay, doesn't the errors don't hamper the understanding of what you've written. As long as the reader, your whoever's checking your exam, is able to understand the point that you're trying to make, and there are not too many errors, the error density is not too much, you won't lose marks for making one or two silly mistakes here and there, okay? So don't aim for perfection in my grammar. And I mean grammar, and I'm talking about the writing section. Grammar section mein your grammar needs to be perfect. Sorry, there's no other way about it. But reading section mein ek do गलती हो गई, एक दो silly mistakes हो गई, एक दो spelling mistakes हो गई. As long as जो आपने लिखा है वो बहुत अच्छा है और समझ में आ रहा है, chances are examiner उसके marks नहीं काटेंगे. Okay, so don't worry about that too much. And literature में भी don't worry about that too much. But again, the advice that I always give is, if you're using a word that is too complicated and you don't know if you're using it correctly, and if you are not sure of the spelling, try to use an easier word. Just use an easier word instead, okay? Alright, let's read the extract. आपको एकदम पता चल जाना चाहिए नाम सुनते ही इब्राइट की कौन से चैप्टर से है, but फिर भी question paper is nice enough to tell you ये कौन से चैप्टर से है, okay? Here's the extract. The question he tried to answer was simple. What is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, Ebright said. But doctor, how many of you can pronounce his name properly? Setting is a name, Satyam. It's the name of a person. Okay? Okay, Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. To find the answer, Ebright and another excellent science student first had to build a device that showed that the spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. This project won Ebright the first place in the county fair and entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. There he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. So, elaborate the answer more. Okay, Rengoku, you will get the word limit. No, long answer में आपको long लिखना है, 100 words में लिखना है, short में आपको 40 words में निपटाना है. So it depends on the question. It entirely depends on the question how long it needs to be. If you're going to write unnecessarily wrong answers for short answers, long answer, long wrong, full khichdi in my dimag. If you're going to write unnecessarily long answers for short questions, then you are going to first of all waste a lot of time, and secondly make errors. So you're understanding what I'm saying? Chances of making mistakes obviously increases when the answer is longer. Short में निपटाओगे तो chances are कि आप गलती नहीं करोगे. Long लिखोगे chances are आप गलती कर दोगे. So, to avoid making unnecessary errors and to not waste time, make sure you're sticking to the word limit. Do not exceed it. There's no point in exceeding it. You're not going to get more marks. Okay? Lean Fran, I think it's totally up to you. If you are very confident about the literature section, go ahead, do it first. But if you are, it's just general tendency is to follow the order that's given in the question paper. You can use your reading time to find out what it's looking like, and see, doing the sections that you are confident about increases your confidence while writing the exam. And so while taking the exam, you're going to feel a lot more confident if you start with things that you're able to answer as opposed to starting with things that you're not able to answer. So go through it and figure out which section is the easiest for you, and by all means start with that section. There's no problem, but this is very personal, so I cannot tell you one thing that works for everybody. It depends entirely on you. Okay, how to frame answers? Just make sure your sentences are simple, what you're saying makes sense, and you are expressing. How do you talk? बात कैसे करते हो? आपको मुझे कुछ बताना है, पहले आप सोचोगे कि आपको मुझे क्या बताना है, फिर आप सोचोगे कैसे बताना है, और फिर आप sentences बना के मुझे बोल दोगे. That's how you frame answers. Okay? It should be Should the answers be informal or informal? Answers should always be formal. You're never using slang. You're never using informal words in your exam. मत करना. जितना करना है एग्जाम के बाद अपने दोस्तों के साथ कर लेना, एग्जाम में मत करना. Always use full sentences. Always write the full word. Do not use your WhatsApp language. Okay? Yes, it's ideal to maintain tense in your answers, but if you're quoting something, the chances are tense might change. So it's fine. Okay? Jeet, we've already spoken about this. You can go back to the writing section and hear what I've said, and we'll have more writing sessions as well. Okay? Writing is important in literature section. You're supposed to frame your answers in a coherent manner, which means that the person reading your answers should understand your answers. Okay? Don't write a draft. Don't waste your time first writing a draft and then writing an answer. Figure out the draft in your head. आपको पता चल जाएगा, first I want to talk about this, then I want to talk about this, and lastly I will end my answer like this. Just follow that same pattern, okay? If there's no address in the letter, then you make one up. Imaginary address, okay? Yes, you should know your literary devices. 100% Jeet. You will get questions related to them. Okay, now coming back to this, we've read the extract. Whoa, that's so cool. Okay, we've read the extract. Now let's answer some questions. It will be as lengthy as this, Akash. This should give you a very good idea of what your question paper is going to be like. That's why it's a sample question paper, right? Okay. State any one inference about Dr. Urquhart from the given context. Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, E. Bright said, but Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. Okay. What do you understand about Dr. Urquhart from this? It's little bit like a character sketch. I wouldn't say completely like a character sketch, but you're supposed to talk about one quality that you think he has from the anecdote that was shared over here. So basically, when he did not, like others, believe that the spots were just ornamental, it tells us, okay, this is not about E. Bright, Team 7 guy. This is for Dr. Urquhart. Urquhart? That's just Dr. U is what I'm going to call him now, okay? So, we understand from this that he is not the kind of a person who will get convinced easily. Just because everybody believes in something, he is not going to believe in. So he has a scientific temperament. He likes questioning things. He will not just blindly follow what the masses are following. Okay, these are the things you can infer about him. These are the qualities that you can infer. He is willing to investigate alternatives, other explanations for things. Okay. So you have endless answers for this. समझ में आया? Urquhart is what somebody has written in Hindi. Okay. They can. Rashi, there's a chance कि बस एक दो words change करके same एक दो questions आ जाते हैं. Chances है. Yes, he's a critical thinker, does not believe in conventional or does not believe in what the masses believe in. Okay? Very good. ठीक है. Next, true or false बताना है. None of the terms A to D below can be applied to the question. What is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? ये question को हम लोग को देखना है कि इनमें से कोई भी terms इस question पे apply होती है कि नहीं. Terms के meaning आपको दिए हुए हैं. Hypothesis क्या होता है? A proposed explanation for a phenomenon. Okay? Hypothesis अगर होता तो हम उसको एज अ क्वेश्चन नहीं लिखते, हम उसको एज एन एक्सप्लेनेशन लिखते और फिर हम उसके लिए प्रूफ गैदर करते और फिर हम एंड में डिसाइड करते कि हाइपोथेसिस करेक्ट है कि नहीं है. हाइपोथेसिस होता तो हम लिखते द पर्पस ऑफ द 12 टाइनी गोल्ड स्पॉट्स ऑन अ मोनार्क प्यूपा इज प्योरली ऑर्नामेंटल. ठीक है? सो इट्स नॉट अ हाइपोथेसिस. इज इट एन assumption? Something that is taken for granted or assumed to be true without proof. It's not an assumption. An assumption would have been, I know that the tiny gold spots on the monarch pupa don't mean anything. I don't have proof, but that's what I feel. That's an assumption. So ये assumption नहीं है. Is it a premise? A proposition that forms the basis of an argument? No, it's not a premise. It's not a proposition. It's a question. A proposition is not a question. Is it a theory? A theory is also not a question. थ्योरी भी कभी क्वेश्चन नहीं होता. तो ये क्या है? ये बेचारा सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन ही है. इनमें से कोई भी फैंसी चीज ये नहीं है. सो ट्रू या फॉल्स, नन ऑफ द टर्म्स कैन बी अप्लाइड टू द क्वेश्चन. ट्रू. इनमें से कोई भी टर्म्स हमारे क्वेश्चन को अप्लाई नहीं होती है. सो इट्स ट्रू. वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग क्वेश्चन, आई अग्री. बट इट्स नॉट अ थ्योरी. हाइपोथेसिस भी नहीं है, assumption भी नहीं है, प्रेमिस भी नहीं है, थ्योरी भी नहीं है. तो हमारा आंसर क्या है? ट्रू. ओके, गॉट इट. It's just a formal way of talking using last name. In fact, I don't think any of you know my last name. Because you just know me as a... Do you think my last name is ma'am? How many of you think my last name is actually ma'am? I'm sure nobody. But yeah, हम लोग नहीं use करते ना last name, so you wouldn't know what my last name is. My last name is Singh, in case you were curious. Okay, here's the next question. Ebright's approach towards finding the purpose of the gold spots on a monarch pupa was highly effective. Elaborate in about 40 words with reference to the extract. Who was asking me about limit? Again, limit idhar 40 words diya hai. So you can give a very nice, short 40 word answer. कोई complicated नहीं है. क्या बताना है? Ebright's approach towards finding the purpose of the gold spots on a monarch pupa was highly effective. Was it effective? Yes. हाँ कि नहीं? Arjun, so there are already summaries for each lesson. So we'll, see, we are doing a sample paper analysis right now. This is to give you very good idea of what your actual question paper is going to be like and what your problem areas are. अभी जब हम preparation करेंगे properly exams के लिए, then हम लोग हर चीज detail में करेंगे. Okay? So here you can say Ebright's approach was highly effective because by building a device, he showed that the spots actually produced a hormone that helped in the butterfly's development. Okay, so first his approach, he was like, मेरे को पता करना है कि spots से क्या होता है. Then he built a device. That device actually showed that the spots were secreting a hormone. That hormone actually helped in the butterfly's development, and this led to a discovery about those spots. So yes, we can say that his approach was highly effective, and these are the reasons that you can give. The answer is properly given in your marking scheme. You can take a look at that. Okay. Next, which phrase would correctly substitute a chance in the given sentence from the extract? He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. Here, chance is... Let's see, where's the word? Oh, in the given sentence from the extract. So you can say opportunity. A से opportunity, opportunity. Yes, an opportunity. Chances are you will lose marks if you go over the word limit, and chances are you'll also waste a lot of time. So please don't go over the word limit. Not necessary. Nobody's going to count exactly and be like, अरे 40 बोला था इसने 50 words लिख दिए, अब तो मैं 5 marks काटूंगी. ऐसा nothing, none of that is going to happen. More or less it should be in the given range. ठीक है? Okay, now we have reached the proposal. What I'm going to tell you is, I will suggest that you go on YouTube and look for the proposal ke enactments. So you'll find plays being performed by people. You will find movies being shot on this. Not only are these great to watch because you've read the chapter, it'll be a good refresher for your chapter as well. And you will also be able to see how plays are actually translated on stage. Okay, जो लिखा है उसको स्टेज पे कैसे परफॉर्म किया जाता है आपको देखने को मिलेगा. आपको ये पूरा सीन जब आप देखोगे किसी अच्छे एक्टर को परफॉर्म करते हुए, आपको बहुत मजा आएगा. ओके, सो आई हाईली सजेस्ट यू डू दिस. ओके, नाउ दिस इज लोमोव्स little monologue that he gives when he is having this somewhat of a panic attack. It's called I'm trembling all over just as if I'd got an examination before me. The great thing is I must have my mind made up. If I give myself time to think, to hesitate, to talk a lot, to look for an ideal or for real love, then I'll never get married. Ugh, it's cold. Natalia Stepnovna is an excellent housekeeper, not bad looking, well educated. What more do I want? But I'm getting a noise in my ears from excitement. Then he goes, he drinks water. Then he says, and it's impossible for me not to marry. In the first place, I'm already 35, a critical age, so to speak. In the second place, I ought to lead a quiet and regular life. I suffer from palpitations. I'm excitable and always getting awfully upset. At this very moment, my lips are trembling and there's a twitch in my right eyebrow. Okay. So this is just Lomov losing his mind a little bit over getting married. Question is, which of the following is not a reason why Lomov thinks he must marry? So he has given a bunch of reasons why he thinks he must marry. He is already 35 years old. That is one reason he's given. He suffers from palpitations. That is one reason he's given. He's excitable and easily upset. That is also one reason he's given. Does he love Natalia? Has he said no? About Natalia, he's only said excellent housekeeper, not bad looking and well educated. No mention of I love Natalia. So our correct answer is D. Okay? Ha ha ha. Okay. Next question. Why is it fair to say that Lomov's tone when he says, what more do I want, is uncertain and questioning? You have to again answer in about 40 words. Why is it uncertain and questioning is what you need to just justify. Okay. So, it's uncertain and questioning because he's trying to convince himself that Natalia Stepnovna is whom I should marry. He's not 100% sure. Okay, he's not convinced. If he had been convinced and if he thought this was the right decision, he wouldn't have said so many things. The reason he's blabbering, he's saying so many things is because he's trying to convince himself that yes, I am doing the right thing. That's why his tone is uncertain and questioning. Again, this thing about tone. If you go watch this play, look at how the actors are performing this part. And then you will understand the tone by listening only. He's like, oh, I am 35. Okay, I have palpitations. I'm excitable. Yes, Natalia Stepnovna. Okay, she's fine. She's a good housekeeper. Yeah, I should drink this. Oh, it's cold. Oh, there are noises in my ear. Oh, I need to drink water. So all of this, the mannerisms of Lomov right now indicate that he's not sure. He's trying to convince himself, and that's why he is uncertain and questioning. Okay? Next. Read the following descriptions from A to C and identify which one correctly corresponds to the extract. A is a debate is a formal discussion on a particular topic, usually with two or more people. इसी में out हो गया. दो और more people तो है ही नहीं. लोमव अकेले ही बोली जा रहा है. Second is a soliloquy. A soliloquy is a speech given by a character alone on stage, which reveals their innermost thoughts and feelings to the audience. Exactly यही है. Correct. B is the correct answer. And an aside is a brief comment or remark made by a character directly to the audience, which is not intended to be heard by other characters on stage. Right now, there are no other characters on stage. This is not an aside. This is a soliloquy. Okay? If an interesting question. If an actor were to enact this extract, what would he be required to focus on while modulating his voice? What is voice modulation? You all know voice going up, voice going down. Okay? So you use different types of intonation, different tones. You say different things in different ways so your listener can understand the emotion or the feeling that you're trying to convey. So here we know that Lomov is extremely nervous. Okay? So yes, his voice can fluctuate a bit. It can go high pitched when he feels tense. It can go low pitched when he's trying to convince himself that everything is okay. Okay? So when he's feeling anxious or getting excited, he can raise his voice. And when he's feeling better and he's like, no, okay, everything is fine, he can lower his voice. Okay? And if you watch, again, like I said, if you watch the play, you'll be able to understand how actors actually modulate their voice. All right, now, this is an extract. This is from Fire and Ice, your poem. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. So this is the second part of the poem. Fire ke baare mein nahi hai, ice ke baare mein. So we're going to focus on that part. Question is, fill the blank with one word. When the speaker says that ice could also bring about the end of the world, he refers to blank. as the means for destruction. Ice क्या है? हमने फायर एंड आइस में बहुत बारी डिस्कस किया है कि फायर का मतलब किस टाइप के इमोशंस है और आइस का मतलब किस टाइप के इमोशंस है. सो यू नीड टू टेल मी व्हाट आइस relates to what kind of emotions. Yes, very good. Hatred, insensitivity, lack of empathy, rigidity, all the things that we associate with ice, we associate as being cold. Okay, cold लोग कौन होते हैं जिनमें feelings ही नहीं होती दूसरों के लिए. ठीक है? Yes. Vedavali, very high chances. So you can just write hatred. Easiest is hatred. You can write indifference, not caring, okay? Bitterness, rigidity, like you said, apathy. All of these are good options, okay? Felling nahi, feeling. Mohammad Asghar, the grammar in this sample paper we've discussed in quite a lot of detail today. We're going to do a lot of additional questions and practice questions. Don't worry, वो सब हम लोग करेंगे. Okay? So again, what does the speaker's alignment with those who favor ice suggest? Okay? So speaker's alignment with those who like speaker agrees with those who favor ice also. First he said कि world will end in fire, but then he also agrees with people who say that world can end in ice. He says that the speaker's alignment with those who favor ice suggests that they have seen the destructive consequences of whatever ice suggests. जो आपने previous question में बोला था, hatred, okay, lack of empathy, okay, rigidity, whatever. So this suggests that the speaker himself has experienced these things and how painful or bad they can be. ठीक है? Okay. Which of the following best describes the speaker's attitude towards destruction caused by ice? Is the speaker indifferent? Indifferent means he doesn't care. That's not true, right? Is he fearful? Is the speaker scared of the world ending in ice? No, he's not scared. Is he dismissive? Is he saying, this can't happen. This is not possible. No, he's not dismissive. Is he respectful? Yes. Why do we know he's respectful? Because of the word great over here. To say that for destruction, ice is also great. So it's kind of like the speaker is saying कि हाँ, it's a बढ़िया चीज़ है ये world destroy करने के लिए. So he is respectful. Okay? Easy? Good. Okay. Comment on the poet's use of language in these lines. So, what do you think about the language in these lines? Is it very complicated? Is it convoluted? Is it very difficult to understand? Like the whole poem reading comprehension thing that we did, just maybe we were discussing if it's a challenging poem, if it's a simple poem. It's simple. You were able to understand. है ना? Simple and understandable. So you can just talk about that. Okay, an answer for this is given in your first problem is to understand question only. Use of language बहुत complicated है. इसमें आपको कोई ऐसा word दिख रहा है जिसका meaning आपको नहीं पता. Maybe suffice का हो सकता है कुछ लोगों को ना पता हो, पर more or less आपको पता ही है. Right? So ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत मुश्किल vocabulary यूज हुई है, बहुत high end words यूज हुए हैं, sentences में ऐसे घुमा फिर आके कुछ लिखा हुआ है कि समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा. सुडोकू जैसा तो नहीं feel हो रहा ना ये. It doesn't feel like Sudoku. But if you have a different opinion and if you're able to justify it, by all means you can write that as well. He sounded like a villain from a Disney movie. Yeah, maybe a villain who left hand से fire निकालता है, right hand से ice निकालता है और ऐसे ऐसे attack करता है लोगों को. That kind of a villain. Okay. Alright, next question. You can look at how to write answers for this in the marking scheme. Now comes a little cute fog poem. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbour and city on silent haunches and then moves on. Very cute. क्या किया fog ने आके? I quietly stayed there for a little bit. इधर उधर देखा, फिर चले गए. Personification use हुआ है, as you know, in this poem. So in what way does the language used in this poem challenge traditional ideas of what poetry should be? ट्रेडिशनल पोएट्री क्या होती है? उसमें हम लोग एक राइम स्कीम बनाते हैं, ओके? आ गए सारे अपने वाइन्स और टिकटॉक्स मीम्स रेफरेंस करने के लिए, ठीक है? ट्रेडिशनल आइडियाज में एक राइम स्कीम होती है. आप उस राइम स्कीम जो भी है, ए बी सी डी, जो भी आप राइम स्कीम फॉलो करना चाहते हो, ए बी, ठीक है? ये सब कुछ होता है. डू यू सी अ वेरी like particular rhyme scheme in this poem? No, right? Fog comes on little cat feet, sits looking over harbor and city, on silent haunches, and then moves on. There's no rhyme scheme as such, okay? So unlike traditional poetry that often relies on complex rhyme schemes and metaphorical language, this poem uses this very simple everyday thing to create vivid imagery. So you can just talk about the fact that it's such a short poem. It doesn't talk about a very complicated narrative. आप इसी को कस्टर्ड द ड्रैगन से कंपेयर करोगे, जो कि एक बैलेड है, उसमें क्या क्या नहीं होता है, कितना कुछ हो जाता है. या इसको आप फायर एंड आइस से भी कंपेयर कर लो, तो उसमें भी कितना मीनिंग है. फायर का मतलब ये होता है, आइस का मतलब ये होता है, ओके? इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. आप बस कंपेयर कर रहे हो फॉग को एक बिल्ली से. आप कह रहे हो फॉग आती है, रुकती है थोड़ी देर और जाती है, एंड इन योर हेड आप एक सीन इमेजिन कर सकते हो. एक हार्बर है, एक सिटी है, देयर इज फॉग. सो इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल पोएम. इट डजंट टॉक अबाउट अ वेरी complicated, it doesn't have a complicated narrative. It's not trying to make a very poignant point, or it's not trying to motivate or do something. It doesn't have that much of a purpose. It's just to give you a little bit of an escape from thinking about all these things and just enjoying nature a bit, okay? So that's how it's different from traditional poetry. Next, what is the significance of the use of the word little to describe the fog in the poem, and how does this word continue? How does this word choice contribute to the overall mood and tone of the poem? Answer in about 40 words. So the word little tells us more about the nature of the fog, that it's not overwhelming. इट्स जो कि ऐसा है नहीं, क्योंकि दिल्ली में तो बहुत ही ओवरवेलमिंग फॉग आती है. इनफैक्ट यहाँ पे फॉग का स्मॉग बन जाता है. बट it's not overwhelming, it's not overpowering, it's just there in the background. It comes, it doesn't make a lot of noise, it doesn't make a statement that I have arrived, it doesn't take over everything. It slowly blends into the atmosphere, stays there for a bit. You might notice it, you might not notice it, and then it goes away, okay? So that's what the word little signifies, and you can just elaborate on this a little bit. So little, subtle, calm, peaceful, that's the kind of vibe you get, okay? All right. Yeah, fog is like, may I come in? May I come in? Like that, whispering. Okay, next. Complete the sentence with the appropriate option. The lines from the poem tell us that the city is blank. अब fog तो कहीं पे भी आ सकती है, हिल पे भी आ सकती है, कोस्टल रीजन में भी आ सकती है, इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया में तो स्मॉग ही आएगी, फॉग तो आएगी नहीं, एंड अंडर डेवलप्ड एरिया में भी आ सकती है. बट this class will end soon, Christina. We just have few more questions left, okay? We'll try to end it by 8-10 max. So what gives us the answer? Oh wow, I'm so impressed. Icicle Infernus. That's an amazing name for a villain. Icicle Infernus. Love it. Okay, so here we have the word harbor in our poem. हार्बर कहाँ पाया जाता है? कोस्ट पे पाया जाता है, जहाँ पे सारी शिप्स होती हैं, करेक्ट? दैट टेल्स अस, दिस इज द रीजन वी नो कि ये कोस्टल एरिया में है ना. इजी, ओके. आइडेंटिफाई द टाइप ऑफ इमेजरी यूज्ड इन द लाइन्स ऑफ दिस पोएम. नाउ आई हैव टोल्ड यू मेनी टाइम्स कि 5 सेंसेस हैं, वो हम यूज करते हैं फिगरेटिव लैंग्वेज में. क्या क्या 5 सेंसेस हैं? हम लोग कुछ साइट दिखा सकते हैं, हम किसी चीज़ का अरोमा के बारे में बात करके उसकी स्मेल के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं, हम व्हाट समथिंग फील्स लाइक उसके टेक्सचर के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं, और व्हाट समथिंग टेस्ट लाइक उसके बारे में बात कर सकते हैं. ये सब अलग अलग टाइप की इमेजरी है, ओके? कार्तिक, दिस इज द ऑफिशियल सैम्पल पेपर. चांसेस ऑफ गेटिंग दीज टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इज 100% you will get these types of questions only. Okay, so इधर हम लोग क्या कौन सी साइड कौन सी इमेजरी का यूज कर रहे हैं? Are you able to smell the fog? Are you able to taste the fog? Are you able to hear the fog? Are you able to touch the fog? No, you're able to see the fog. So you're using visual imagery. Okay, very good. And yeah, animal imagery because we're comparing it to a cute little cat. The points breakup is given to you on the side. Mayank, long answers ये short के लिए 3 मिल रहा है, long के लिए 6 मिल जाएगा. Okay? You can't feel, it hasn't described how the fog feels on the skin, right? The poem is not talking about that. It's just talking about what the fog looks like. Okay? That's why it's visual imagery. आप थोड़ा ज़्यादा सोच लो तो आप तो बहुत कुछ सोच सकते हो. But poet क्या दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहा है? You have to focus on that. Okay? ठीक है. Now these are your 40 to 50 words वाले answers. 3 marks के लिए एक आंसर है, तो 12 marks total आपको मिल जाएगा 4 questions answer करने के लिए. ठीक है? Justify the opinion that the traditional baker and his bread play a significant role in the cultural and social fabric of Goan society. The answer is given to you on screen. You can take a look at the answer. I will quickly tell you in short कि इसमें आपको किस बारे में बात करनी है. आपके पूरे chapter में it talks about bread only and how important it is. The baker Pader comes and brings that little bamboo thing of his. All the kids get excited. They want the bread bangles first. They don't even brush their teeth and they take it. For every party, for engagement functions, sandwiches are necessary. For Christmas, you always bake a cake. So bread and bakers and like a bakery is a very important part of their social fabric. Social fabric means कि आप जिस society में रह रहे हो उसमें what are the things that you do that are similar and that keeps your society together. ठीक है? तो जो आप चीजें कर रहे हो as people in a community, and these are the things that bring you together, bring you closer, because these are the common things. ठीक है? जो आप सब करते हो, which also make you different from others. है ना? आपकी कम्युनिटी दूसरों की कम्युनिटी से अलग क्यों है? क्योंकि आप ये स्पेसिफिक चीजें करते हो जो शायद वो ना करते हो. So you just have to talk about how bakeries, a baker and bread plays a significant role, and it's because of the Portuguese invasion of Goa and the Portuguese influence in Goa. This was Portuguese culture that has made its way into Goa and still continues to do so. Okay? Next, how does Leslie Norris use vivid imagery and metaphorical language in A Tiger in the Zoo to effectively depict the confinement and oppression experienced by the captive tiger? Here, metaphorical language का मतलब सिर्फ metaphor नहीं है. So don't get confused. Don't think कि हम सिर्फ metaphors की बात करें. Metaphorical language is another way of saying figurative language. Okay? Got it? Figurative language बोलने का एक और तरीका होता है metaphorical language, but metaphor अलग होता है, वो भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. Okay? Got it? So here's the answer given. You know, हम लोग ने poems detail में किया है कि क्या क्या figurative language कहाँ use हो रही है. तो इधर क्या क्या vividly आपको कैसे आप imagine कर पा रहे हो कि tiger cage में बंद है. Pads of velvet quiet, vivid stripes, okay, quiet rage, brilliant eyes gazing at the stars. ये सारी चीजें जो poet बोल रहा है उससे emphasize हो रहा है what the tiger is going through. So you can read this answer. Take your time to do it. All right. Next, Lencho आ गया. Lencho is my favorite. Okay. So explain how the description of the devastation caused by the hailstorm reflects the sadness within Lencho in a letter of God. Okay. So here refer to the given lines from the text. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. Oh no. Okay. So, Acha, you changed your name also to Icicle in Furnace. Wow. Amazing. It's that easy to change your name on YouTube. इतना easy है तो अपने नाम लगा लो ना सब. किसी के पापा का नाम लगाया, किसी ने मम्मी का नाम लगाया, किसी ने भाई का नाम लगाया, फिर मेरे को बताते रहते हो my name is actually this, and then I keep getting confused. If it's so easy, you should change the name before the session and then change it back to what it was. Okay. All right. So here, how are we comparing the devastation and how does it compare to the sadness that Lencho was facing? जो outward devastation हो रहा है, आप देखोगे सब आसपास खराब ही हो रहा है. Hailstorm आया, सारे पत्ते उड़ गए trees से. Such a depressing picture. Okay, सारा जो corn था वो destroy हो गया. Okay, flowers जो थे plants में, the beauty of the plants destroyed. So everything that's happening outwardly is talking about destruction. And that same thing is going inside Lencho as well. So the aftermath of the hailstorm mirrors Lencho's inner turmoil. So what जो भी बाहर हो रहा है, एक तरीके से वही Lencho के अंदर भी हो रहा है. Same kind of destruction, same kind of devastation. Okay? So you can read this answer. You'll figure out how to frame an answer by reading this. Hailstorm, that's the first thing that happens in a letter to God. Rain जब होती है तो पानी गिरता है. Hail जब होती है तो hailstones गिरते हैं. बर्फ के pieces होते हैं वो, and they really hit you very hard if you stand in a hailstorm. I have experienced a hailstorm. ऐसे it's like somebody's throwing stones at you from the sky. And that's why rain से भी ज़्यादा destruction hail की वजह से हो जाती है. Okay? All right. Kitty was a trusted friend to Anne. Elaborate. Kitty कौन थी? Anne की diary थी. Anne क्या बोलती है? Paper has more patience. And Anne talks about how she never had that one true friend जिसको वो अपनी innermost feelings बता सकती थी. So वो अपनी सारी innermost feelings, everything she felt, everything that she wanted to talk about, she used to tell Kitty. It was her diary. Okay? So here you have the answer to this. Not a very difficult question. You will easily be able to answer this. If you're familiar with the chapter, you will not have any trouble answering this question. Okay? Next we have, my favorite. I love reading The Tale of Custard the Dragon. Such a great poem. Okay. How does it challenge the notion that individuals should conform to societal expectations? Now, इसमें क्या है? You have Custard, जो कि कहने को dragon है, but doesn't have the dragon personality, and everybody keeps making fun of Custard for being cowardly, for not having what it takes to protect everybody. But then finally, when a problem actually presents itself, ink, blink, mustard, none of them are able to do anything. Who saves everybody? Custard saves everybody. So even though everybody thought that Custard was good for nothing, Custard had the inner strength and courage and belief to actually rise to the occasion and fight, which is why Custard did not conform to societal expectations. If Custard had conformed to societal expectations, then Custard would have been a coward. Pirates से लड़ाई करने के बजाय Custard would have gone and hid. Okay? So here's the answer. You can read it and go read Custard the Dragon again because it's such a great poem. Alright. Now we have to answer two of the following. Triumph of Surgery, again very entertaining chapter, is a powerful example of the importance of saying no. Why? Because if Mrs. Pumphrey had said no to her cute little dog Tricky, then Tricky would not have become fat. Sometimes we don't know what is good for us, which is why we need somebody to tell us. And that could involve saying no. But at the end of the day, that's for our own benefit. If we go and tell our parents, can we watch TV for 10 hours? Can we stop going to school? Can we just fail in our exams? Our parents will say no. And that's ultimately good for us. Okay? So, Tricky को भी अगर Mrs. Pumphrey ने no बोला होता, तो Tricky overweight होकर बीमार नहीं होता. Okay? This is the answer. You can read it. Next, how does education play a transformative role in Bholi's life? Bholi was always underestimated. In fact, Bholi was sent to school because she was not good enough to get married. Because kind of society that Bholi lived in, getting married in a good household meant everything for women. But because Bholi was not good enough to get married, she was sent off to school. And that had a transformative impact on her life. She got a good role model in her teacher. She learned things. She discovered herself. She empowered herself through education. And finally, she was able to fight for her own rights. ये छोटे में मैंने बता दिया क्या होता है. You can read this answer. Alright? Now, The various elements of Robert Arthur's writing style work together to create a sense of tension, uncertainty, and suspense, well suited to the mystery and suspense genre of the story, The Midnight Visitor. Comment with reference to any one element. These are 3 पॉसिबल आंसर्स. आपको एक इतना बड़ा आंसर नहीं लिखा है, ये 3 अलग अलग आंसर्स है. तीनों आंसर्स में हमने एक एक एलिमेंट पकड़ा है. टू गिव यू, दिस इज टू गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. दिस इज गिवन इन द मार्किंग स्कीम टू टेल यू हाउ यू कैन just pick one element and elaborate on it if this kind of a question comes. So first element is skillful use of language. Second is dialogue between Osable and Max. Third is pacing and plot development in the narrative. Okay? You find it difficult reading Nelson Mandela and Making of a Scientist. See, they are not difficult chapters as such. Understand ki they are not stories, right? They are accounts of a real person who existed, a person who had these experiences. So you need to read it with that kind of a mindset that, you know, this is not a fictional story that I'm reading जिसमें कुछ होगा, फिर एक development होगी story की, फिर एक climax आएगा. ऐसा नहीं है. It's an account of somebody's real life and their real learnings. So that's how you should read it. What about a mixture of all 3 elements? No, that will not work because you're supposed to only talk about one element. It says right here with reference to any one element. So please read the question carefully, otherwise you'll give a wrong answer. Don't want to do that. Okay? Question गलत पढ़ने की वजह से आंसर गलत हो गया तो बहुत बुरा लगेगा. So don't do that. Okay? Pay attention to the question. All right. अब जल्दी जल्दी खत्म करेंगे हम. We have 4 minutes to go. I think we have only 2 more questions left. हाँ. You have to answer any one of the 2 and ये 6 marks का है. The long one जो भी मेरे से पूछ रहा था कितने marks का आएगा, 6 marks का आएगा. Here, this is a very common question that comes in exams where 2 chapters में आपको 2 में से 2 characters को compare करना पड़ेगा या 2 chapters को ही compare करके एक आंसर लिखना पड़ेगा. तो एक तरीके से ये एक चैप्टर का आंसर नहीं है, ये 2 chapters के आंसर्स हैं. ये 6 mark questions में बहुत common है. Okay, so you need to be able to make these connections between different chapters. Okay? जैसे 2 characters की mothers कैसी थी, मैं ईब्राइट के बारे में भी आ जाता है कभी कभार. ईब्राइट की mother बहुत अच्छी थी, बहुत supportive थी. ठीक है? साथ में भोली के mother के बारे में आ जाएगा. भोली के parents कैसे थे. तो भोली और ईब्राइट के parents को compare करने को बोल सकते हैं. ईब्राइट की सिर्फ मम्मी थी. So Bholi's parents did not treat her properly. Ebright's mom actually supported him and, you know, helped foster his curiosity and gave him books to read so that he becomes a scientist. Correct? So इस type के questions आएंगे. अभी क्या question है? You have been asked to present an evaluation of the approaches of the mothers of both the baby Seagull and Amanda towards helping their children. Write this presentation draft, including your insights, in about 120 words, comparing the approaches of both parents. Okay? So now you just have to, in your mind, understand कि दोनों parents ने क्या किया था. जो सीगल की मम्मी थी उसने at the end of the day सीगल को help किया उड़ने में. Seagull was scared. But you can say that maybe she was a little too harsh. बिकॉज सीगल भूखा लेज पे खड़ा हुआ है, रो रहा है, उसकी सारी फैमिली उड़ रही है. सीगल को बुरा तो लगेगा ही होगा बहुत ज़्यादा कि ये देखो मेरी मम्मी मेरे साथ क्या कर रही है. बिकॉज वी ऑल एक्सपेक्ट लव फ्रॉम आवर मदर्स, राइट. तो सीगल की मम्मी माइट हैव बीन थोड़ा हार्श, बट व्हाट शी डिड वाज टू हेल्प द सीगल. Amanda's mother, on the other hand, was just critical of her, kept criticizing her to the extent that Amanda wanted to become an orphan only. She wanted to escape, go away from everybody. So what Amanda's mother did not help at all. It really affected Amanda's confidence and self-esteem. So these are the ways you can compare the two. Yeah, very nagging. So these are the ways you can compare both the mothers and give your opinion on their parenting. Okay? And last, oh no, we have one more question after this. You have been chosen to address a student gathering from the neighborhood schools to speak on the resilience of human spirit required to transcend discrimination. Prepare the speech draft in not more than 120 words with reference to the commonality of themes in Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom and The Trees by Adrian Rich. here you have been given how to start and end also. I love these questions जिसमें आपको बता देते हैं कि start कैसे करना है, end कैसे करना है ना? So here दोनों नेल्सन मंडेला लॉन्ग वॉक टू फ्रीडम और एड्रियन रिच के चैप्टर्स में क्या सिमिलैरिटी है, पोएम और चैप्टर में क्या सिमिलैरिटी है? दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इक्वालिटी. इसमें रेशियल सेग्रीगेशन वाज द इशू, ब्लैक्स और वाइट्स का. इसमें मैन वर्सेस वुमेन इज द इशू. बट इट टॉक्स अबाउट इक्वालिटी फॉर बोथ. इट टॉक्स अबाउट द नीड टू फाइट फॉर दैट इक्वालिटी. आपको बैठे बैठे नहीं मिलेगी, आपको कुछ करना पड़ेगा. एंड इट टॉक्स अबाउट the challenging journey that you inevitably have to go through to get that equality. Okay, so you can read this, you'll be able to understand resilience of the human spirit in both cases. In one case it's women and it's about feminism and women equality. In the other case it's apartheid, it's about racial equality and it's for black people. Okay, now because this is a speech that you're giving, you have to start it in a certain way. Like I said, that way is given to you, so you can just use what's given in the question prompt to answer this. In case it's not given, final question में in case आपको नहीं बताया गया कि आपको कैसे start या finish करना है, आपको पता है ना speech होगी तो ऐसे start करूँगी और ऐसे end करूँगी. Okay, debate होगा तो ऐसे start करना है, ऐसे end करना है, तो you can just do it accordingly. Okay, and next. Okay, we have 2 more questions and then we'll be done. These are 120 words. Here, imagine that Monsieur Lucelle from The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant writes a diary entry exploring the theme of class and social status and the nature of social mobility in the context of his own experience. Write this diary entry as Monsieur Lucelle in about 120 words. So, Lucelle and his wife Matilda, they were different people. They did not have the same personality. Lucelle was more of a, I am very okay with my circumstances. मेरे पास ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं है तो it's fine. I can still be happy in what I have. And Matilda was not happy with what she had. She wanted more money. She wanted fancier things to wear. She wanted fancier jewelry. She was very conscious about her social status and her appearance in public. Lucelle was not like that. But he did love his wife a lot and he wanted to impress his wife, which is why he ended up listening to what his wife said and they took that necklace, they lost that necklace and that led to all the problems in their life. So you have to imagine that you are Mr. Lucelle. How will you write this diary entry keeping all of these character traits in mind? If you're writing a diary entry, you are writing as that character. You're not writing as yourself. So you need to think like that character. वो character के traits क्या है, वो character कैसे सोचता है, उसके हिसाब से आप diary entry लिखोगे. So here you go. Read this. Okay. And last question. Finally, chalo. Character arc is the transformation or development of a character throughout a story and refers to the changes a character undergoes as a result of their experiences, challenges, and interactions with other characters. Now, one of the best character arcs you can see in a thief story in Hari Singh, which is not even his real name, because he really transforms himself from a petty thief to somebody who actually cares about the repercussions of his actions. This entire transition that you can see in his character is very evident, and it happens because of Anil, because of how Anil treats him. A lot of times, you know, people who end up doing bad things might have been victims themselves. I'm saying might have. For example, people who bully, children who bully, it has been, a lot of research has been done, and they found that generally they have a bad atmosphere at home, and that's why they take it out in a different way in school. So similarly, you can say that no human being is fully bad or fully right. It's their actions and their circumstances that make them good or bad. So everybody is kind of in a grey zone, you can say. So Hari Singh starts out as a bad character because he's a thief. He is deceiving Anil, and Anil is a good guy. In the context of our story, he's a good guy who's only trying to help Hari. But Hari Singh changes. He goes from being bad to a better person when he decides to not steal from Anil, even though it's a force of habit. It's not that easy to change yourself. हम लोग हर साल New Year resolutions लेते हैं. Are we able to fulfill all of those resolutions? No, we cannot change ourselves so easily. It takes a lot of effort. So for Hari Singh, force of habit, he stole from Anil, he ran away, but then a transition had already taken place within him and he came back. Okay, so this is what you need to talk about in this answer. Okay, you can take a look, you can read this out, and now tell me if you have any concerns, questions, anything. Yes, finally done. So see, you have so much time in your exam. And अभी तो हमने सारे questions किए. आपको सारे करने की ज़रूरत भी नहीं है. You have to do any 1 of the 2, any 4 of the 5, any 10 of the 12. ठीक है? Alright, so this was our sample paper discussion. You are going to do a fantabulous job in your exam, I know, and we still have a lot of time to prepare. So if there was something in this session that you did not understand or that you were totally confused about, good news, you have a lot of time to take care of that. कोई literature का chapter है जो समझ नहीं आ रहा, कोई grammar का concept है जो समझ नहीं आ रहा, writing नहीं समझ आ रही, reading comprehension नहीं समझ आ रही, we are going to do all of that. So now is the time to really analyze yourself, give yourself true feedback and understand what you need to work on. Okay? Alright. Take care of yourselves, take care of your health, and I will see you next time. Stay happy, stay positive, and you are going to do very, very well in your exams. I have that feeling. Okay? हम BYJU'S वाले हमेशा अच्छा perform करते हैं. We have a track record of doing great in the boards. Okay? So was this tough? Learn Unique sample paper was not, I wouldn't say it was very difficult. It was okay. Okay? So if you found this tough, then you need to bring your level up thoda sa, which you can do. It's not hard. You थोड़ी से hard work से, थोड़ी सी smart studying से आप कर सकते हो आराम से. ठीक है? ऐसा ही होगा. The level will be very similar. This should give you a good idea of what it's going to be like. Okay? Alright. I will see you next time. We will do more practice papers. We will do more additional questions. We will do PYQs. आपके चल भी रहे हैं. I hope you're able to answer those questions. ठीक है? So don't worry. Preparation होता रहेगा. You take care of yourself. Don't panic. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.